Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. The Hades of Marvel, Hela, she became my wife. Chapter 41. Lof's words are not without reason. Everything now really seems to be caused by Loki. He tricked the Ice Titan into going to Earth. Then he was directly beaten back by the Earthlings. Afterwards, Bifrost's attack left the Ice Titan with no way out. There is only one way to promise Death God. After that, it is now. This world has become Death God's ice hell. And they, too, will become jailers of hell. Hell became the biggest winner. It's not just Lof who thinks so. Most people here think so. Death God. It seems that everything is in his calculations. And here, the only thing they don't understand is the human tactical troops. They looked at everything that happened today, and Tien felt that his three views were ruined. Wait, I see my husband. Just then, an ice titan looked towards an empty place. The people around her, at the moment, all turned their heads to look there. An illusory figure is beside the ice titan who spoke just now. That figure had obviously died in the disaster ahead. What's going on? Why can we see him? Isn't he dead? Yeah, I obviously saw him die. Wait, I also saw my child, isn't he dead? Why is he here now? Is that huge amount of gate the ghost gate we know from memory? They came out of the gate of hell. Someone found the problem. All ice titans who signed the book of life and death. At the moment, countless phantoms can be seen appearing beside them. And these phantoms are all those who have died. You are now the jailers of ice hell. The souls of all previously deceased ice titans have been contained in the underworld. Now you are both members of the underworld, you can meet each other. Said the huge Chin Hao in the sky. Also a member of the underworld. This is the situation now. Those ice titans who died first were all pulled into the hell of Helm's Hades by the gate of hell. But now all the ice titans are hell jailers again. Naturally, they were able to meet. This is the ghost eye unique to hell jailers. And hear what the titans who became members of the underworld said. More ice titans signed their names in the book of life and death. Who hasn't loved ones of the few who died in the previous bombings? Now that they are members of the underworld, they can see those who have passed away. That alone is enough for them to act. Too many people don't have time to say goodbye to their loved ones and friends. Now, they have a new opportunity. And, it looks like they'll even be able to live on with those who died. More ice titans signed. Lof at the moment is really completely giving up. If there is no way out, then we can only accept this future. Today seems to be the time for me, the Ice Titans, to surrender completely. What even Odin couldn't do, I didn't expect Death God to do it. As he spoke, he signed his name on the book of life and death in front of him. Ding, the Ice Titan family has completely become the prison guards of the underworld. Please be sure Ice Hell Warden. The sound of the system sounded again. Conquer a race directly. This prison needs a warden now. Chin Hao glanced at Lof. As of today, appoint Law as the warden of Ice Hell. Lof was taken aback when he heard this. Immediately afterwards, he fell directly to the ground. Lof takes command. A huge force directly began to penetrate his body. His breath gradually expanded. In the blink of an eye, he actually reached the peak level of level God Father. In this ice hell, he is the strongest. And this strength, he originally needed to have the casket of ancient winters to achieve. At the moment, he is divine. The ability possessed by Death God is really amazing. Although a lot of ice titans died this time. However, their souls can still live in this hell. In a way, little has changed in their lives. On the contrary, those who survived have a slight change in strength. Yin Qi entered the body, and they all changed. Others are not very sensitive to breath. However, Ancient One is not included. She is now more and more shocked. Originally, she thought she could be up for grabs. But now it seems that Death God doesn't need it at all. He can directly manufacture subordinates at the peak level of level God Father. Although this had something to do with Lof originally being very strong, it really made the other party the pinnacle of level God Father. Then, she thought of another possibility. Death God Hela. God of the underworld, Goddess of Death, is this the way you said to break through to the peak of level God Father? When you return to Asgard, get your physical body. At that time, you will become a person of the Oriental God system. Your originally level God Father's peak strength has once again broken through. Does it directly possess the strength of the god level? Even if you can't achieve it all at once, you have broken through a certain limit. Ancient One was talking to himself beside Hela. And Hela turned her head to look at Gui. Yes, that's our plan. Originally, he wanted to break through with Chin, but he has already broken through now. I am left alone, and the chance of a breakthrough at that time is not small. Ice Titan can go one step closer, and there's no reason I can't go one step closer. Quote. When Hela said this, she subconsciously glanced at Gu. Do you want to become a god of the Eastern god system? Your strength has reached the peak, and you might be able to step onto the path of the god level. Hela actually took the initiative to invite Ancient One. Ancient One fell silent upon hearing the words. Asgard. Loki and Heimdall saw everything that happened in Jotunheim. Definitely, they only saw Jotunheim before it became an ice hell. That horrible shock killed countless ice titans. This makes Loki even crazier. He thinks his plan has succeeded. However, when the casket of ancient winters shattered, when the energy of Bifrost bombarded Jotunheim again, Jotunheim disappeared straight from his and Heimdall's eyes. Heimdall looked horrified. This is exactly the same as when Hades disappeared. When Hades disappeared, that's how it suddenly disappeared from his eyes. He looked at it for a long time and didn't find it again. I see, I finally understand what that death god said at that time. Heimdall missed Chin Hao's words at that time. What words? Loki opened his eyes unkindly. How dare you lie to me? The death god said to use the casket of ancient winters as the foundation to build a second layer of hell, ice hell. Build a second layer of hell, ice hell. It's impossible. Loki doesn't believe it at all. He doesn't want to believe it. Because this represents a terrible thing. Underworld death god turned Jotunheim into a second hell. And this second layer of hell also disappeared directly from the 9 realms. Just like what they saw just now. At the moment, Bifrost's terrifying energies run straight through the endless universe. It is unknown where that terrifying energy will spread in the universe. But they know, this Bifrost can never attack Jotunheim again. The 9 realms has now directly become the 7 realms. Loki, stop the Bifrost attack, it doesn't deserve it. Heimdall at the moment didn't know if he was happy or unhappy. Happily, Thor survived. What is not happy is, the 9 realms, or the 9 realms. Asgard ruled the 9 realms for endless ages. But in this short period of time, the 2 worlds have disappeared. Will more realms disappear in the future? He couldn't imagine it at all. And Loki, at the moment finally felt a little anxious. His plan actually didn't plan for anything. Immediately afterwards, a thought made him tremble a little. They won't know my passage to Jotunheim, will they? If they knew, would they kill them directly? No, it's not whether it will be possible, but it must be killed. Loki's heart trembled. That death god is too powerful. He was so strong that he knew at a glance that he was not an opponent. What's even more frightening is that too many people have been offended this time. Even his own big brother Thor was completely offended. I almost killed him. He couldn't even imagine what the consequences would be for him when they came back. No, I'm going to see if I can see them. Maybe, what happened in Jotunheim is not what I imagined. Quote. Loki is possessed. He hurried back into Asgard and took out the ball of Agamotto. Enter Mana, and the entire ball of Agamotto reveals everything from the nearby universe. Warnerheim, Yafheim, Nidavel, Midgard, Svartalfheim, Muspelheim, 7 worlds. He can see that there are always only 7 worlds. Jotunheim, really gone. Same as Helm Hades. It's over, it's really over. Subconsciously, his gaze wandered across the universe presented by the ball of Agamotto. Immediately afterwards, his pupils shrank for a while. A fleet caught his attention. That fleet seemed to be headed straight for Earth. More importantly, he saw something special in the fleet. A device like a portal. The installation at the moment shines with blue light. It seems that it is connecting with a certain place. Seeing that light, he seemed to remember something. Immediately afterwards, he adjusted the detection position. A blue cube appeared in front of his eyes. Tesseract, a treasure that once belonged to Asgard, it has the ability to teleport at will. It is another way of sending troops in Asgard after Bifrost. Unexpectedly, this thing is actually in Midgard. And that fleet, it seems, is communicating with Tesseract. Maybe I can help them. Crazy Luo Mono Jiao at the moment has even crazier plans. I cannot destroy you by myself. Then I will let more people participate in destroying you. Your target is now on Asgard. Wait until a new alien invasion arrives. Let me see if you will keep your eyes on me. With such an idea, he decisively started to act. The figure came directly to the Earth in an instant. Shield Division. A secret base is researching the space Rubik's Cube. What they have to do is to use space magic to develop more and more powerful weapons. The person who initiated this project is Nick Fury. The appearance of super soldiers such as Hulk and Abomination made Nick Fury think of superhero again. And thinking of superhero, he thought of Carol again. Carol is a super soldier created by using Tesseract's Pegasus project. Nick Fury once again restarted the Pegasus project. This time, it is better to study powerful weapons directly. It would be even better if he could also create a super soldier like Carol. But in the laboratory, the person in charge of researching Tesseract suddenly changed his eyes. There seemed to be another voice in his ear. These voices are haunting and haunting. In one experiment, he subconsciously adjusted some parameters. The Tesseract suddenly emitted terrifying energy. Immediately afterwards, a portal opened instantly. Inside, a figure with an enchanting figure came out from it. Father asked me to lead the fleet, I can't let him down. The enchanting figure muttered to himself. She came with a mission. The moment she appeared, all monitoring systems of S.H.I.E.L.D. were directly activated. No one in S.H.I.E.L.D. expected an alien to appear here. A person who time traveled from Tesseract. The soldier in charge of defense here drew his gun and aimed at the figure. Stop, move again and we'll shoot. But this figure didn't care about other people's weapon threats at all. Is this the mortals of Earth? Or use such weapons? She walked straight forward with enchanting steps. The guarded agent here decisively pulled the trigger. Although aliens are worth studying. But it's not like they haven't seen aliens. In front of Thor and his team were hammered back by Hulk and the others. Thor came for the second time and was directly imprisoned by S.H.I.E.L.D. More importantly, I heard that a huge alien army appeared in Norway today. There was even a fierce battle with the Earth's military, and S.H.I.E.L.D. had a lot of people going to it. Those aliens were beaten back in the end. They don't know very well about the situation there, they just heard about it. Because of the appearance of aliens, S.H.I.E.L.D. asked them to strengthen their defenses. Unexpectedly, just after receiving such an order, they really encountered aliens. If you can't study living aliens, then study dead ones. The moment they fired, the alien flashed through the crowd at frantic speed. The nimble skills are not like normal people at all. When her figure stopped, all the agents who launched the attack were knocked down. The only ones left are those researchers. The mortals on Earth are simply too weak. This figure commented, "Pa pa pa pa." Just then, a burst of applause rang out. A figure suddenly appeared in front of her. Good skill. The person who appears as the illusioned Loki. He also saw that this alien's skill is really amazing. Even, he could tell at a glance that the entire body of the alien had been transformed. Ordinary injuries didn't do anything to her. Even if it is injured, it is just a bunch of parts to replace. This alien is exactly Nebula. Xing Yun frowned. He always felt that the person in front of him looked very familiar. Are you here to stop me too? Nebula asked. No, I'm not here to stop you, but I'm here to help you. It was I who asked him to change some data, so I sent you here. Let me introduce myself. I'm Asgard, acting god King Loki. Quote. Hearing this name, Xing Yun at the moment was also surprised. No wonder I feel so familiar, you're Loki. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nebula, the daughter of Thanos. Quote. The voluptuous alien finally introduced himself. You've heard of me too. Loki was a little surprised that the other party had heard of him. Is his reputation already so amazing? Definitely heard about you. In fact, this time I came to Earth partly because of you. Is there a reason for me? Can you explain it to me? Because of what you are doing in the 9 realms now, we have the opportunity to come to Earth. And we would like to make an ally with you. Nebula speaks very skillfully. She definitely can't admit that she came to Earth because she used Loki as a tool man. Because Loki's series of actions created opportunities for Thanos. allowing him to send Nebula and them to Earth to find the Tesseract. And at the moment Loki represents the God King of Asgard. Represents an entire force. As long as Thanos hasn't had the idea to go head to head with Asgard, then he has to show respect to Loki. If it's the Loki who fell into the universe, that will naturally be called out by others like the plot of a movie. You want an alliance, what do you want to do? Loki wanted to know what the other was up to. He has seen some things through the Agamotto ball. But after all, I still don't know what the other party is going to do. In fact, there's only one thing we're here on Earth to take, and that's it. Nebula pointed to the Tesseract still installed on the device. The Tesseract used to belong to Asgard. I want to know why you are interested in this thing. Loki wants an answer. We want to teleport our fleet over with Tesseract. Nebula explained. In fact, Loki already knew the answer in his heart. Tesseract's teleportation ability is really powerful. It is normal for someone to fancy his teleportation function. On the contrary, the current research of Earthlings is a bit abnormal. No way, who let the Earth people use it to make a carol? Giving up its true ability. Instead, use it as a source of energy. What do you want to do when you come to Earth? Implement my father's thoughts. The resources of the entire universe are limited. But human desires are unlimited. The endless population puts enormous pressure on the entire universe. What the father has to do is to purify the universe. All resource-strapped planets should have less life, less population. Quote. Nebula directly recounted Thanos' thoughts. Loki's face became slightly delighted when he heard that. So you are here to exterminate the life of this planet. Xingyu was silent for a while. That's right, that's it. If the God King of Asgard thinks this is one of the 9 realms you manage. If you don't want us to do such a thing, I can also retreat. Quote. Nebula has clearly made all kinds of preparations. If Loki disagrees, she just backs off. Not only will she retreat, but she will also leave the scepter in her hand. Thanos has said that 2 gems in close proximity can inspire other infinite gems. Now that I am here, I have completed this task. The 2 gems are already close enough. No, I think you have misunderstood. Actually, I have no objection to your attacking the Earth. Even I will provide you with some help, such as some information. There are some very powerful forces on Earth. They were imprisoned by me in another world. But they may break through that boundary at any time. So you don't have much time to attack here. Once they break through, the people you have to face will be very powerful. So, if you really want to attack here, you must speed up. Loki at the moment sold the Earth directly. Hearing Loki's words, Xingyun was also surprised. This guy has no sense of being the God King of the 9 realms at all. Not only does it not protect the 9 realms, but it also betrays the 9 realms like this. Thank you, God King Loki, for reminding me. I need to take this thing and this group of scientists away. Only they can help us build the space channel now. Quote. Nebula decisively removed Tesseract. By the way, the researchers here are also controlled. The 2 left the laboratory directly with a group of scientists. Even if there are many SHIELD agent guards, it is useless. Loki is truly a god to these ordinary people. Xingyun's modified equipment is not in the least for ordinary people. What's more, dogs control people's hearts. Another point is that things in Norway have attracted almost everyone's attention. Even Nick Fury and Hill Agent are already there. There are very few people left. Wait until Nick Fury gets the report. Loki, DBAJ, and Nebula have disappeared on Earth with the Tesseract. New York, Stark Industries. This is the base of the new energy source experimented by Tony Stark. There is a lot of energy here. Enough energy to start Tesseract. Nebula brought a group of scientists. Directly controlled countless people through Scepter. They are in no man's land here. A teleportation device connecting the universe was quickly assembled. Because Xingyun was originally a transformed person. This time, he naturally brought a lot of key equipment with him. There is no need to look for those messy elements. So building the teleporter is much faster than expected. In just half a day, they had already set up the device. Loki stares at the device a little fascinated. Once the machine is started, the whole space will be instantly opened. At that time, countless alien armies attack the Earth. And those people, who are still in Jotunheim, don't know what's going on outside. When they came out, no one outside knew what had happened. Xingyan, start it, I want to see if your team can really go down the whole Earth. Loki at the moment had a look of anticipation on his face. Then let's get started, Nebula ordered, and the start button was pressed instantly. The sound of terrifying energy gathering sounded. A terrifying blue light shot straight into the sky. The citizens of New York clearly saw everything here. What is Stark Industries up to? I don't know. Since Stark announced that he stopped the development of the Shiitake device, he seems to be messing with something. It seems to be talking about new energy, saying that when new energy comes online, the whole world will no longer lack energy. Could it be that this is new energy? Why should new energy be launched into the sky? Could it be possible to borrow energy from the sky? Light energy. Countless New Yorkers explored this beam of light. They didn't even discuss the horrific alien attack in Norway. After all, for them, those things are too far away. As if in the sky. Just when everyone said these things in the tone of a bystander, the beam of light in the sky slowly opened a space door. The empty door opened wider and wider, and finally one could even see the endless dark universe behind it. What is that? Stark Enterprise, what are you doing? I always have a creepy feeling. Finally someone felt a little bit wrong. Late, the sound of the terrible engine sounded. Countless small flight devices suddenly flew out from that space door. There are several Zeta Swiss soldiers on each flight machine. Immediately afterwards, a gigantic Chitauri behemoth passed through the space gate. Another one. The terrifying alien legion instantly occupied the sky of New York. This time, no one stood in the way. The Avengers that were supposed to appear at the moment was held in Jotunheim. They don't even know what's going on here. God King Loki, if no one stops me, I will take over this world. Nebula looked at Loki and said, take it, I wish you success. Loki looked at one terrifying war beast after another in the sky. He felt refreshed at the moment. Earth is doomed. Ice Titans failed. Then the task of destroying the Earth is given to these Zeta Swiss soldiers. Everyone obey orders, attack. Nebula at the moment is full of pride in my heart. The task this time may be easier than what the daughter-in-law imagined. Because Loki is really a tool man. He attracted all the attention. Boom, boom. Horrific explosions resounded throughout New York. Countless people died. Countless buildings collapsed. Compared with today's battle, the Harlem Hate vs. Hulk fight was like a show. Norway. Members of the Global Safety Committee are gathered here. The estimated casualties of this Ice Titan invasion have come out. More than 700,000. Nick Fury at the moment looked at everyone with a serious expression. The signal outage inside has been close to a day. Judging from the last picture, the rainbow beam that appeared is the same as the rainbow beam that appeared in New York. It can be judged from this that Asgard, where Thor is located, should be the last one to make a move. We have reason to suspect that all this is a conspiracy between Thor and Asgard. Use him to attract our attention and even cheat our trust. Then draw everyone into that Ice Titan world. Afterwards, their Bifrost may allow countless armies to descend on it. Kill our most powerful individual inside. It was an excellent siege tactic. Asgard has a strong tactical team. So, now we have to be prepared that everyone who goes in is dead. Next, all countries must cooperate to concentrate heavy weapons and equipment here. Once this space channel is opened again, we will eliminate any aliens that come out as soon as possible. Nick Fury voiced his suspicions and plans. Then, do as you say. Agree. The people at the Global Safety Council directly agreed with Nick Fury's suggestion. But at this moment, everyone's cell phones rang. Nick Fury picked up his phone. Immediately afterwards, the pupils contracted for a while. What? New York was attacked by aliens. What? New York was attacked by aliens. Nick Fury looked at the message in the message. His first feeling was unbelievable. How is this possible? However, the information coming from the screen immediately made him feel like falling into an ice cave. Over New York, the alien battleship that blocks the sky. Small and flexible, it is Chitauri's individual aircraft. A Zeta Swiss soldier on every flight, constantly shuttles through the neighborhood. Those maintaining law and order were killed one by them. All resistance will be suppressed directly. The floating battleship that looked like a giant beast directly sealed off the entire New York. All the roads outside were blown up by them. Now, it is impossible for the people inside to leave. There are even countless Zeta Swiss soldiers jumping out of the battleship. They immediately proceeded to clean up any revolting crowd. There is a population of tens of millions. It was so easily occupied by the Zeta Swiss soldiers. If something happens there, it will be a terrible thing for the human beings on the whole earth. Nick Fury, do you know what's going on there? That is, why did aliens appear here in Norway, and now they appear in New York? If New York loses, it will be a big loss this time. Arrange troops here to defend, and transfer troops to prepare to take back New York. If we can't win, we will put mushrooms. The people on the Global Safety Council at the moment are all getting irritable. These high and mighty people, who has no foundation in that country. Even, some of their foundations are in New York. Something happened here, and it was a big trouble for the whole earth. For them personally, isn't it a big trouble? Nick Fury's heart sank. Once there he couldn't get it back. These people will definitely be sent as a mushroom. If one is not enough, add a few more. However, Nick Fury had other concerns. There are mushrooms on the earth. Will aliens not have large-scale weapons? Decades ago, the Kree Empire almost destroyed the earth with large-scale weapons. Once the two sides use large-scale weapons, that would be an irreparable disaster. When the time comes, the aliens will pat their ass and leave after losing the fight. What is left will be a devastated earth. Just when they were angry, a new picture came. The source of the space channel in the sky finally appeared. It's the Stark building. The thing that scares Nick Fury even more. The guy from the Stark building. Loki. Loki of Asgard. Loki, who appeared in Harlem and was thrown by Hulk, Abomination, Dr. Banner. In Harlem, he was the first to speak when he showed up. It was also he who made people retreat quickly after seeing things that could not be done. Even, Nick Fury has drawn a lot of information from Thor's mouth. Loki is a god of trickery. Now, Nick Fury letter. So this is your plan. The Norwegian side used Thor as a bait to lure everyone into that world directly. Then cut off all the passages there, and the most powerful group of people on the earth just fell into it. Loki, on the other hand, took another force to attack another part of the earth. What's more, the place Thor is drawn to is an area with a small population. Therefore, the casualties are relatively small, and it is easy for us to make a decision to use large-scale weapons. In that case, the aliens would be defeated. In order to reduce losses, you deliberately pretended to be defeated here and then retreated. Wait until our people's attention is all here. You attack one of our most prosperous cities with a stronger army. This will make us tie our hands and feet, and dare not let go to fight. Fighting individuals, Hulk and the others are not here, we don't have strong individuals anymore. Fighting with technology, we will not be your opponent at first glance. What a Loki, what a god of tricks. It's a good sound. Nick Fury is an old silver coin. At the moment he had to admire Loki, the older silver coin. He's pretty much all in one. Count the earth to death. However, Nick Fury had no idea. None of this was actually Loki's original plan at all. Thor doesn't seduce them. He's also completely ignorant of any of Loki's plans. And Loki is not as linked together as imagined. His plan in Jotunheim has been shattered by Chin Hao. Now, he is just making trouble with Thanos' Legion. However, Nick Fury has no idea. He thought it was the trick of Loki, the god of tricks. Shield assemble, target New York. Nick Fury gave his orders directly. Jotunheim. At the moment the entire Ice Titan clan fell apart. They are on a mission. Find the passage to Asgard. Now that Loki came to Jotunheim without using Bifrost, then there must be a secret passage leading here. The Ice Titans here, whether they are alive or turned into souls after death. Now all over Jotunheim. It's a pity that after searching for a long time, there was no gain. Chin, there are several guesses about the current situation. First, there is no such passage, so our search is in vain. But this point may not be big. I have heard before that every 10 worlds actually have some small space passages. Second, Loki closed that covert passage. After all, we won Jotunheim. He was also worried that we would go up. The third is that this place has turned into hell, which is not the same as the original world. The original passage here has been destroyed. The fourth is because of the violent earthquake that occurred throughout Jotunheim. The passage has been buried in those ruins. Quote, Hela looked at the busy crowd and offered her opinion. At the moment, she was still a little disappointed in her heart. Your fourth guess is right, I've seen it. Chin Hao saw it. At the moment, his eyes were dark. It seems that even the pupil has disappeared from the entire eye. In his line of sight, there is a buried cave under the ice. There are forces that do not belong to Jotunheim. Everyone, dig there. Chin Hao directly directed the Ice Titan to do things. Their ice magic works great here. Yes, Lord Death God. Lof personally took the lead and led a group of Ice Titans to start clearing the passage here. Chin Hao, at the moment I am in a good mood. This time earned a whole world of hell. Also found the passage to Asgard. Hela, it will be unblocked soon. Hela becomes the pinnacle of level Godfather, and then becomes Bai Wuchang again at that time. How much strength will I improve myself? Lord Death God, you have found the passage you need. Can you send us out first? They should be in a hurry here for so long. Quote. Captain Rogers thought about the situation outside. They stayed there for nearly a day. Because the passage to Norway was destroyed, even the situation inside could not be sent back. He is now very worried that people outside are waiting in a hurry. Chin Hao didn't think about keeping the others. Because they're actually no match for the Ice Titans here. Captain Rogers, you take the special forces out first. We also want to visit Asgard. Also, have you figured out how to explain the things inside this time when you go out? Dr. Banner spoke suddenly. Can the situation here be exposed? He had to listen to Chin Hao's opinion. If he disagrees, they really can't expose this place. More importantly, Chin Hao will take people to Asgard next. Many of them want to go to Asgard to have a look. Even Tony is no exception. Bifrost gave him too much psychological shadow. He was going to see Bifrost for himself. Otherwise, the Earth will have no room for resistance in the future. As soon as Dr. Banner's words came out, Rogers was also lost in thought. In this matter, he can't be the master, and neither can the special forces around him. If one is not handled well and offends Chin Hao, then the Earth may be over. Their gazes all turn to Chin Hao. Even Ancient One at the moment is waiting for Chin Hao's reply. His answer represents many things. But at this moment, Chin Jia's expression suddenly changed to doubt. The number of souls in Hyam Hades suddenly increased. Don't worry, follow me to Hyam Hades. After Chin Hao finished speaking, a gate of ghosts passed through to Hyam Hades. Everyone else at the moment is inexplicable. Why is it that Chin Hao is going back to Hyam Hades all of a sudden? Everyone followed. This world. It is much more comfortable to find this world than Ice Hell. In Ice Hell, you are always under the stimulation of cold. Deep down, ice biting. There, he was tortured all the time. But here, it's like normal life. Even Hela at the moment is thoughtful. Do you want them to understand that hell is really different from hell? If you don't want to suffer the torture of hell, the best choice is actually the level of hell I'm in. If anyone leaks the secret this time, they will all be imprisoned in Ice Hell. Hela as Death God, start to scare everyone directly. The main thing to scare is those special forces. It turns out that, I also thought that the hell here is the most tormenting. But after seeing Ice Hell, I realized that this place is actually like heaven. Dr. Banner seems to have realized it too. Ice Hell is a place where you will be tortured all the time. But Hyam Hades, in addition to entering the tongue-pulling prison, Scissors Prison. Elsewhere souls can live completely as normal. If you don't want to be tortured, then don't be seduced by Ice Hell. Leak, then get ready for Ice Hell. Chin Hao nodded. Your thinking is somewhat divergent. However, it is also good to be scary. It's good that you know, and besides, look over there. He pointed to Wangquan Road in the distance. Numerous Yin soldiers are guarding more souls and are constantly entering Wangquan Road. The number of souls far exceeds normal times. It's a pity that others don't know. Chew, because they haven't been there. But Hela's eyes changed after watching it. What's going on here? Why are there so many souls? This is only when there are so many souls in war. No accident, something happened to the Earth. Chin Hao led the crowd across Wangquan Road. Standing in front of a huge ghost gate. Everyone stared. New York. There's an alien invasion happening here, too. Captain Rogers saw what was happening outside in the blink of an eye. My mansion. What have they done with my mansion? Tony saw the terrifying blue light above the Stark building at a glance. Above the blue light is a terrifying space portal. Countless Zeta Swiss soldiers and warships are constantly coming out of it. It's really a terrifying scene that covers the sky and the sun. As for Thor, his eyes were fixed on the Stark building. Loki, why are you here again? He felt like he was gnashing his teeth at the moment. Jotunheim was almost destroyed by Loki. He almost died in it. Now, there's Loki again. He never seemed to know Loki. Never knew Loki could be so terrifying. Ancient One at the moment has dangerous eyes. New York is taking over. Here, there is a holy place. If it is really occupied here, there is one less point of defense to maintain the magic dimension. At that time, it became much easier for intruders from the magic dimension to invade. Here, nothing is lost. Pluto, next, are you going to Asgard, or are you here to help resist these aliens? Ancient One looked at Chin Hao and spoke. This answer will determine the next battle here. Chin Hao's strength is really too strong. If he makes a move, the enemies here are nothing at all. Although Ancient One also has a chance to stop the aliens. However, there will definitely be horrific casualties here. Because, aliens have mixed with the crowd. Chin Hao took a look at GUI. Then he turned around and pulled Hela towards Hades to be arrested. Definitely go to Asgard, you can't handle it here. To help you deal with the Ice Titan, because the casket of ancient winters will destroy the world. I also want to harvest souls slowly, and I don't want to be destroyed by Ice Titan all at once. But here, they are all technological weapons, and you can handle them yourself. Besides, I'm Death God. The last shot didn't collect too many souls. Do you think I'll keep going? You have repeatedly asked a Death God for help. I don't think it's too much. Chin Hao's voice gradually faded away. Everyone at the scene was stunned. They seemed to have forgotten that the one in front of them is Death God. Please Death God help. Isn't once enough. It seems that we need to move here ourselves. Just then, a tearing air sound sounded. Thor reached out suddenly, and Mjolnir was back in his hand again. Hela, what do you mean by that? Hela, what do you mean? Thor looks puzzled at Mjolnir in his hand. There is a world of difference between him with a hammer and him without it. But why did Hela give him the hammer? Mjolnir is under the control of Odin, it's useless to Asgard. It just so happens that you can use it, just let it defeat Luo on Earth. You two, don't go back to Asgard. Hela's voice came from afar. This Mjolnir, she can't use it anymore. Go back to Asgard until she has a body. At that time, her night sky sword will be completely unlocked. That is her weapon. Standing in front of the Ghost Gate, the crowd fell silent at the moment. Hulk and the others originally wanted to go to Asgard. But looking at it now, they have more important things to do. Save New York, and Ancient One at the moment had an inexplicable look on his face. After a while, a smile appeared. This Death God is interesting. I've heard rumors about Hela. Now it has become like this. King Qin Guang, the god of the underworld, has changed the goddess of death. He is willing to help us resist the Ice Titan's casket of ancient winter's attack. Not willing to help us fight the aliens in New York. Perhaps, the aliens here are really nothing. So, let's open it up, everyone. I will open the mirror dimension to the channel. Subsequent aliens will be pulled into the dimension space. As for the aliens in New York, that's up to you. Quote. After Ancient One finished speaking, the whole person disappeared in place. After a while, everyone found that no new aliens appeared. Here, a group of people glanced at each other. Loki, it's mine. Suo was the first to speak. Woo, Mjolnir swung wildly. Immediately afterwards, he soared into the sky. Fly towards where Loki is. Hulk, smash, big guy. Hulk roared and jumped out of the gate. A gigantic Chidori plankton was not far from him. Boom, terrifying beating sounds sounded from the giant beast. Click, a giant floating beast smashed towards the ground uncontrollably in an instant. Leave the big guy to us, little guy, you have to take care of it. I really regret that I didn't learn how to smash things. I don't know if I can be as smooth as Hulk. Quote, Dr. Banner at the moment also jumped out. As for hatred, he rushed out without saying a word. These big guys must be very enjoyable to smash. Captain Rogers and Tony go through hell. Director Fury, this is Captain Rogers, we're out. Nick Fury, who was on his way to New York, was taken aback. Captain Rogers, are you all back? Come back, Hulk, Abomination, Dr. Banner have made their move. Then the big ship will be handed over to them. When will the support here arrive? Me and Tony can't last long here either. Quote, the surrounding troops have been mobilized, but it will take time to rush over. And, I have to tell you a bad thing. If it can't be stopped here, their decision is to use mushrooms to solve it. Quote, Captain Rogers and Tony were horrified when they heard that. How dare they do that? Captain Rogers did not believe in such a decision at all. There are tens of millions of people here. One mushroom goes down, and they all die. Compared with a city, they think more about not letting war expand. One batch of aliens has already appeared in Norway, and a second batch has appeared in New York. No one knows if there will be a third installment. So for the sake of the overall situation, they will definitely do this. As long as these aliens are ready to breach New York, there will be mushrooms. Nick Fury has a smooth voice. When he first heard the news, he was also shocked. But he knew it was really impossible. We try to delay the time as much as possible, you guys, hurry up and support. Tony's tone was serious. After hanging up the communication, Captain Rogers looked a little dazed. Even the war he participated in, there was no one-time death of tens of millions of people. On the contrary, the casket of ancient winters in Norway has the most horrific one-time death statistics. And now, New York is about to refresh this data. He glanced back at the ghost gate behind him. Tony, which hell do you think these people will go to when they die? Tony heard that Flight's body almost fell to the ground. Is now the time to think about this? However, Captain Rogers said so. His mind began to think about it uncontrollably. It's not going to be ice hell, it's a mess right now. Hyam Hades, even if tens of thousands of souls enter, there will be no splashes. Master Death God, did he really decide to collect these tens of millions of souls, so he didn't save New York? I don't know, all we can do is persevere. After Captain Rogers finished speaking, he directly addressed a Zeta Swiss soldier. Ice Hell, Jotunheim, the Ice Titan managed to break through the buried passage. Loth, you want revenge, this is your chance. After Chin Hao finished speaking, he and Hela walked into the passage first. Through the passage, they came straight to Asgard. The moment Hela steps onto Asgard, she took a deep breath. A huge force is replenishing her soul power. Being sealed for nearly 2,000 years, her soul power is also extremely weak. At this moment, Odin, who had been sleeping all this time, suddenly opened his eyes. Frigga looked at the waking Odin with a smile on his face. You're finally awake. How long have I been asleep? Why can't I feel Thor and Loki? They all went to Midgard. To Midgard, yes, yes. Odin is actually relieved to hear that Thor and Loki are going to Midgard. Frigg saw Odin's abnormality. What's wrong with you? Did something happen? Odin glanced at Frigg. My dear, perhaps, Ragnar paragraph mark K is coming. Frigg's expression changed. Has Hela come to Asgard? Yes, here she is. After Odin finished speaking, he looked at the door of Asgard. There, two figures walked towards them. And behind them, a group of Ice Titans are holding weapons and following them vigilantly. Ice Titan, why are they with Hela? Frigga stood up subconsciously at the moment. Originally thought it was just Hela. It turned out to be a team now. Odin, long time no see. Hela greeted Odin with a calm face. Mother, long time no see. Although Frigga is not Hela's biological mother. But Hela's attitude towards Frigga is obviously better than that towards Odin. At the moment Odin looked at Hela in front of him with extremely dangerous eyes. Hela gave up her green divine attire. I chose a set of clothes with the same style as the man around me. The man was all black. Hela, all in white. Is it you who took Hela's soul from the seal? Odin's tone was harsh. That's right, I'm not only going to take Hela's soul, but now I'm here to take Hela's body too. Chin Hao's aura was in full swing. Powerful aura roams across Asgard. The huge momentum even made Odin feel short of breath. Above Heavenly Father, you have crossed the barrier of strength at the peak of level God Father. The shock of his at the moment is only known to him. This death god is heaven. But, in the blink of an eye, he took it for granted again definitely. How could it be possible to silently take away Hela's soul if it wasn't the Heavenly Father? Odin, Hela has been imprisoned by you for nearly 2,000 years. Now, do you release her body yourself, or let me kill you and get it? Chin Hao did not return to Odin's question. His at the moment is extremely strong. He could already see that Odin's life was not long. Hearing Chin Hao's words, Odin became short of breath again. Hela at the moment looked overhead. She smiled contemptuously. Odin, are you still the same as before? If you don't want to admit it, cover it up. Hela at the moment took the initiative to intervene. Hela, should you trust your father? He won't harm you. Fry persuaded. Ding's way of raising children has always been like this. He kept saying that he would not harm others. Why didn't he do a good job in raising children? Loki activates Bifrost directly to destroy Jotunheim. Now he is still in Midgard leading other alien legions to attack Midgard. Is this what he meant by not hurting me? While educating children to despise life and attack other realms at will. While talking about being kind, you can't just know about killing. Odin, I've never seen you say that and act completely differently. Hela's tone became more and more contemptuous. Hearing this, Odin was slightly taken aback. Loki, nearly destroyed Jotunheim. His gaze finally came to Loth. He finally understood why the Ice Titan was here. Loki, nearly wiped out the Ice Titans. Odin knows, Hela never lies. He discovered at the moment that Law's strength had actually reached the peak of level Godfather. You guys, how did you survive? He wondered, since he used Bifrost, why did Loth survive? Because, the whole of Jotunheim was dragged into hell by me. Now, Jotunheim is no longer one of the 9 realms, but the ice hell of the underworld. Chin Hao explained to him. Odin was completely stunned upon hearing this. Ice hell, Helm Hades was also pulled into hell by you. No wonder I can't see the existence of Helm Hades anyway. Quote. He finally understood. Everything is understood. Odin, after all these words, now, what is your choice? Chin Hao continued to apply pressure. Odin was about to speak. Chin Hao took the initiative to interrupt him. Besides, you'd better think about it, your choice will determine the shit of the whole Asgard. After he finished speaking, he glanced at Frigg next to Odin. Odin's breathing became short of breath again. Ragnara paragraph mark K. Is my choice now Ragnara paragraph mark K. He seemed to have figured it out. Frigga, my queen, thank you for being with me for so long. My king, I support your choice. Even at the cost of life. Frigg was ready to sacrifice. No, my queen, you can't die yet. Hela, I hope you get a physical body and can forgive your mother. After Odin finished speaking, he directly opened a divine power barrier. A green passage appeared in front of him. Immediately afterwards, Hela's flesh color floated out of it. The whole body is covered with a green tattered tight-fitting divine power battle robe. One hole after another represents the divine power that Hela lacks. Hela's soul looked at her body. In an instant, her soul entered into her physical body. Hela opened her eyes and exhaled deeply. Power, I feel power again. The divine power battle robe on her body was gradually restored. The enchanting Hela walked to Chin Hao's side. She hugged Chin Hao's body directly. Then he gnawed hard. Odin and Frigga at the moment were full of disbelief. Hela, she did such a thing on her own initiative, she has changed. Frigg whispered in Odin's ear. Yes, she has changed. Odin at the moment felt a panic in his heart. It seems that the cabbage in my own family is about to become someone else's. Even if he imprisoned Hela for nearly 2,000 years. But watching his daughter gnaw on others. He was still panicked. Time seems to be getting extraordinarily long. Chin, thank you. Hela finally spoke. It seems that you still need a little time to reach the peak. Chin Hao said while holding Hela's waist. At the moment Hela's strength is infinitely close to the peak of level Godfather. However, after all, it was still close. Hela lost to Surtur. It proves that her strength at that time was still not as good as Odin. At the moment has just recovered her physical body, Hela is naturally even worse. I'm in no hurry. She turned to look at Odin. Odin, proclaim me the God King of Asgard, and I will let you enjoy your old age. Odin and Frigga glanced at each other upon hearing this. Hela actually said to enjoy her old age in peace. He was ready to be killed by Hela. Sure enough, Hela has changed. This death god from the east changed Hela. Odin imprisoned what Hela had not done for nearly 2,000 years. Mated by this eastern death god. After Hela finished speaking, she took Chin Hao's hand and turned and walked in one direction. She doesn't care if Odin agrees with her becoming a god king. If you don't agree, just kill him when the time comes. Where are you guys going? Frigg was about to follow the two of them. Go and meet my subordinates, and then go to see the Soul Castle. Hela glanced back at Odin. I am the goddess of death, and I am the one who died. The destination of the soul is hell, Soul Castle, it should disappear. Meet your subordinates. Let the Soul Castle disappear. That's what Hela is going to do now. This is what Chin Hao has to do. And Odin, he at the moment doesn't care. The two came to the treasure house of Odin, followed by the team of Ice Titan. Perhaps with Odin's permission, there's no one here to stop them. Even the Asgard legions outside have given up on the Ice Titan. Entering the vault of Odin, Hela heads straight for the eternal fire. Chin Hao looked at the other treasure houses inside and said nothing. The Ball of Agamotto and the Eye of the Warlock are artifacts of the Sorcerer Supreme lineage. Unfortunately, Ancient One went to save New York. Otherwise, she could get these two things now. Hela easily blasted a hole in Odin's treasury. After that, she revived her subordinates who were sleeping down here. Most importantly, he resurrected the giant wolf Fingal. This is a battle force with at least level sub-godfather. Even, it is possible to reach level godfather. Fenrir's huge size is enough to oppress anyone. Even the Ice Titan is just a little guy in front of it. Finish things here. The two walked towards the Soul Castle with a larger team. Their team directly attracted the attention of the entire Asgard residents. What's there? How could such a large team appear in our god's domain? Is that one team? More like two teams. That's right, it looks like two teams to me. They came out of Asgard. Could it be that they are the guests of the God King? The appearance of this strange team attracted everyone's attention. Half the team is Ice Titans. Ice Titan, but the enemy of the Asgard Protoss. Although a peace agreement was signed thousands of years ago. But such a large team appeared here. It still feels abnormal. More importantly, the appearance of other, undead. They wear the armor of Asgard. But, where is there such a team of undead in Asgard? Odin didn't send troops to encircle and suppress them, so they dared to watch here. Otherwise, the formation of these two teams alone is enough to cause a disaster. Hela walked through the crowd, very proud. It's not like the kind of obedience to Chin Hao in Heim Hades. She at the moment didn't even have the heart to talk to everyone. The crowd watched them leave. They went to the Soul Castle. Could it be that they sent those undead into the Soul Castle? It makes sense, that's why. Someone seems to have figured out why this team came about. Send the undead into the Soul Castle. Unfortunately, this is just their guesswork. After crossing half of Asgard, Chin Hao and Hela finally came to Soul Castle. Is this the Soul Castle? Chin Hao felt the power here. It looks like a huge palace. Chin Hao clearly felt that there was another space inside. Here, it's like a compressed space is placed here. Originally just the huge palace, plus the compression inside. It's like a separate world. Ding, a special space has been detected that is suitable for the survival of souls, whether to transform it into the third layer of hell. At this moment, the sound of the system suddenly sounded. Chin Hao narrowed his eyes. Soul Castle is actually suitable for the third layer of hell. Also, if the soul can exist, it can naturally become hell. Hela, you said, if we turn this Soul Castle into a layer of hell, will the heroic spirits inside become a dominated army? Chin Hao spoke suddenly. Hela heard the words and took a look at Chin Hao. Can this be hell too? Is it too small? It's kind of small, so I didn't think about making it a third hell. If you want to expand this layer of hell, you don't know how many souls are needed to expand it. Quote. Chin Hao was a little helpless. This place is suitable for soul survival, but it will consume a lot of money to expand. The Protoss of Asgard originally lived long. Their population is not very large either. So there's not much soul in it. The space is very large, but it is only for the few souls in it. If you meet a soul of tens of millions like the New York War, this soul castle is too crowded. It's up to you to decide. In fact, I think this place can be regarded as a paradise for the soul. There is a hell for the soul to be tortured, but it is absolutely possible to have a resting place. Soul Castle originally is the place where the soul rests. If it really becomes that kind of place, maybe it will be like heaven. Quote. Hela has another suggestion for the Soul Castle. Chin Hao felt a little interesting when he heard the words. Hell is the place where endless souls suffer. There is no place to reward souls in the entire underworld. Those souls who deserve the reward will at best not go to hell to suffer. They are able to survive outside hell, such as Helm Hades' tongue hell. Soul Castle, maybe it can really be regarded as a paradise for the soul. Use it to reward souls. I thought, I know what to make of this place. Soul Castle is the place where all souls live when they are rewarded. At the same time, it is also the place where all members of the underworld live. This place, Tian rewards the benefactor. A special name appeared in Chin Hao's mind. Thank goodness. That was originally the place for the judgment of all souls. Department of Rewards for Good, Department of Punishment for Evil, Department of Inspection and Department of Yin Law. The residence of the 4 judges of the underworld. By myself, Soul Castle can become such a place. Thank goodness. A place that rewards the soul. Moreover, there are very few souls now, and the Soul Castle should be enough for use. Department of Rewarding Goodness. The name sounds very interesting, so let's change it into the Department of Rewarding Goodness. Hela stood beside Chin Hao, quietly waiting for Chin Hao to transform the place. It is good. He began to communicate with the system silently in his heart. Turn the Soul Castle into the Department of Appreciation, and temporarily use it as a practice place for the staff of the underworld. After it is expanded in the future, it will be opened as a place for all souls to be judged. Ding, accept the host's request. Soul Castle will be transformed into the Department of Rewards. Ding, where in hell did the host place Shangshan Si? Chin Hao glanced at Hela. Place the Soul Castle in Helm Hades. Ding, the Soul Castle is starting to transfer, ask the host to wait patiently. Immediately afterwards, the Soul Castle in Asgard quivered constantly. Odin and Frigg stand on the Asgard balcony looking at the Soul Castle. Are they going to destroy Soul Castle? Frigga spoke. I don't know, but it's possible that the Soul Castle is receiving Asgard's heroic souls. Let them rest in peace even if they die. But this really robs Hela of his authority. She is justified in being angry. It's just that after destroying the Soul Castle, the heroic spirits will have no home to return to. Quote. Odin was a little lost. Soul Castle, originally was prepared for the Protoss of Asgard. Even when he himself dies, he will be led to the Soul Castle in the end. It now appears that the era of the Soul Castle is coming to an end. I would like to know how the Eastern Death God changed Hela. From their looks, it was obvious that Hela was now obeying the words of the Eastern Death God. Is it really because of stealing Hela's sole authority to destroy the Soul Castle? Frigga has something to disagree with Odin. No matter what they do, now that Hela is back, there will be no one in Asgard who can stop her. Fortunately, Thor and Loki don't have to face Hela in person. Even if there is Ragnara paragraph mark K, I will face it. Both of them felt a little helpless. Hela appeared much earlier than expected. Originally, Hela should come out when Odin died and his divine power dissipated. But now, Hela is ahead of schedule. Even Ragnara paragraph mark K could be ahead. The two stopped communicating, and their eyes were completely attracted by Soul Castle. A violent shock shook all of Asgard. After that, the entire Soul Castle disappeared in an instant. Disappeared, not destroyed, transferred. Odin stared blankly. All Asgardians who looked at the Soul Castle from a distance saw the Soul Castle trembling wildly. Immediately afterwards, the Soul Castle that originally belonged to Asgard disappeared instantly. In the original area, only a piece of flat land was left. Hela, go back to Helm Hades. Loth, wait here, I'll come when I settle down in Soul Castle. After Chin Hao finished speaking, he expended his divine power to open a ghost gate leading to Helm Hades. Hela and Chin Hao disappeared in place. Helm Hades. Next to the Hall of the King of Hades. A huge palace was quickly located here. The entire palace is glittering with gold. It is incompatible with Helm Hades. Elsewhere, it feels eerie and scary. All souls could not help but flee. But Soul Castle just seems to want them to be close. Chin Hao and Hela Hyam Hades. Ding, Department of Appreciation is complete. Summon Wei Zheng, Judge of the Rewarding Department. The determination of the soul of the Department of Appreciation is determined by the Judge Wei Zheng according to the group before his death. Residence conditions of the Department of Rewarding Goodness. 1. The soul to be rewarded. 2. Staff of the Underworld. The special abilities of the Rewarding Division are as follows. 1. Repair soul damage. Calm down demons. Quote. 3rd. To assist in soul cultivation. The host adds a special building in the underworld, and the personal strength is improved. The sound of the system constantly rang in Chin Hao's ears. He looked at the prompt in the system and his eyes flickered. He had never thought that this rewarding department would have such a role. Moreover, the first, familiar, person appeared inside. Wei Zheng, one of the 4 judges of the underworld. The number 1 boss of Shangshan Division. Chin Hao never expected that the appearance of Shang Shanxi would directly summon Wei Zheng. All souls will be judged by Wei Zheng, Yuku. Chin Mo muttered silently. Immediately afterwards, he turned his attention to those 3 special abilities. Repair soul damage, calm the demons, assisting in soul cultivation. Each of these functions is a god-level ability. You know, the damage to the soul is the most difficult to deal with. I don't know how many souls have been injured. Even if there are many employees in the underworld, there will be soul damage. However, now Shang Shanxi can heal. This saves them from even having to worry about soul damage in the future. As long as it is not an irreparable situation, it can be repaired by entering the rewarding department. As for calming demons, this is to make those souls who have suffered pain become peaceful. Dead people, many uneasy. Even demons come back to life. With it, all souls will be at peace. The last one to help practice. It is simply the key ability that determines the future of the employees of the underworld. After all, the souls come to the underworld. Unless it is specially rewarded, the ability of the soul is certain. However, as long as they enter it now, they can practice in it. The stronger the soul, the stronger the strength. Just like Chin Hao, his soul strength is several blocks away from his physical body. A strong horse with a single soul. Now, those souls also have the possibility to become stronger. Hela, go, take you in, and give you a surprise. Chin Hao took Hela and walked towards Shang Shanxi. Surprise. Hela at the moment is full of anticipation. Entering the Department of Appreciation, Hela's face turned red instantly. Shang Shanxi actually has such an effect. Her tone even trembled a little. That is a comfortable feeling. Her soul is being repaired and strengthened. When she was sealed, her divine power and soul were constantly consumed. Back in Asgard, I just recovered a lot of divine power and soul power. But subsequent recovery will take some time. In the end, when she came to the Department of Rewarding Goodness, her soul was recovering rapidly. According to this degree of recovery, perhaps a few days can restore one's soul. All that remains is to wait for the divine power to reach its peak. That's when she became a god of the Eastern Pantheon. Even, she can use this to break through the limit of the peak of level Godfather. Enter the realm of the gods. She is the goddess of death, and will eventually become a real god. Here, there are more surprises, you will know after your soul is restored. Chin Hao made a fool of himself. Real, Hela at the moment is full of interest. At this moment, a person came out from the Department of Appreciation. Wei Zheng, Judge of the Department of Rewarding Goodness, pays homage to Your Excellency. Wei Zheng, Judge of the Department of Rewarding Goodness, pays homage to Your Excellency. A green-robed official from the underworld saluted Chin Hao with a good bodhisattva in his hand. Hela looked at Wei Zheng with wary eyes. This is Soul Castle. Even though it has become Shang Shanxi. However, its predecessor is also Soul Castle. Why all of a sudden, a person who claims to be a judge appeared here? Moreover, she couldn't even feel his strength from the opponent. This is horrible. Get up, Judge Wei Zheng is being polite. From now on, the Department of Appreciation and Goodwill will ask you to supervise carefully. Chin Hao said softly, that's my job as an officer. Wei Zheng continued to maintain his straight-hearted character. Good. Judge Wei Zheng acted on his own. there are a lot of souls that can be rewarded in the underworld, and you need to deal with them. Yes, my lord. Wei Zheng directly led the order to the hall of Shangshanxi. A group of Yin soldiers equipped by the system or his assistants. In a blink of an eye, they were busy. Hela at the moment's eyes finally softened a little. Is he also your Eastern god? That's right, he was upright during his lifetime, and he was appointed as a judge after his death. This is the so-called apotheosis of the East. Hela thought about it, and then she took out the impermanence token. I accept this order of impermanence. Is it equivalent to enshrining a god? That's probably what it means. Feng's gods are affected by incense, but some don't care, such as Wei Zheng. All he has to do is reward goodness, and he doesn't really care about strength here. If there are still people in the underworld who can hurt the judge, then its original strength is Tongtian. Qin Hao briefly introduced a sentence. You mean, his strength is actually limited. He has merit, so what if his strength is limited? The merit is there, but he is immortal. In a sense, he has achieved immortality and is with the underworld. Quote. Hela was startled. Isn't this the same situation as her? She is with Asgard. I will also die when my lifespan is exhausted. But according to Qin Hao, Wei Zheng will not die. Oh, he's already dead. Hela looked away from Wei Zheng. She looked around, and finally her eyes fell on the door. There is a powerful force pulling something there. Soul Castle, the connection with Asgard has not been broken. The soul of Asgard will be drawn here from now on. Although Soul Castle has become the Department of Rewards, the connection with Asgard has not been broken. Without Wei Zheng, the spirits of Asgard would push the door directly into the Soul Castle. But now, they also have to be tested to pass. I suddenly felt that the setting of Shangshanxi is really good. Now, I really want to see Odin's expression. A rare smile appeared on Hela's face. Then go, let him give up the God King, you are the new king of Asgard. After Qin Hao finished speaking, he was about to open the ghost gate leading to Asgard. Take a trip to Asgard. The coordinates have been obtained. Now, they can go to Asgard anytime. It's just a waste of energy. Don't worry, I got my body back, and I can go back to Aster at any time. Now, Odin is probably talking to Lof and the others. Let him know what kind of sons he has raised now. Moreover, there are too many souls coming to the underworld now. Maybe we should go and see what wars are like on Earth. Too many souls, and other hellish Mephistos sleep too. Hela isn't going back to Asgard right away. With a physical body, she still has a lot to do. For example, complete physical communication with Qin Hao. Other Mephistos, it makes sense, it seems that they haven't done it yet with Ancient One. The point is, I don't see Chittori's soul. Don't they have souls? Qin Hao also became curious about things on the earth. Now the number of souls on Wangquan Road is still increasing. However, there is not a single Zeta Swiss soldier soul. You know, when the souls of the Ice Titans appear in the underworld, their names also appeared in the Book of Life and Death. This means that the Life and Death book has added a race. Every additional race is the perfection of the Book of Life and Death. Hell can constantly open up. The Book of Life and Death can only constantly record more race creatures. Originally, Qin Hao didn't care. His goal is on Asgard. Now take back the body that departed from Hela. He is interested in doing other things. For example, go and see why Chittori has no soul. If you want to know, let's go and see. The two walked along Wangquan Road to the opened Ghost Gate. The whole of New York at the moment has been destroyed by half. Fireworks, explosions, distress calls, alarms. Countless voices converged into an incomparably loud noise. In the sky, Chittori's individual flight soldiers are much less. The huge floating behemoths are much less. 3 big men at the moment are still crisscrossing the floors. The Chittori monsters they encountered were all smashed down by them in this way. Tony kept flying through the air, but it was clear that he seemed to be low on ammo. As for Ancient One, I didn't see it at all. It is estimated that the opponent was pulled into the dimensional space again. Qin Hao focused his gaze on the Stark building in a blink of an eye. There, Thor was defeated by Loki and Nebula. It's interesting, I didn't see Nebula at first. If he had known she was here earlier, he would have taken her away without any hassle. Quote. Qin Hao looked at Xingyan and muttered to himself. Is there anything special about her? Hela looked at the transformed robot and asked. I'm looking for Vormir Star, and I suspect she knows where Vormir Star is. Even if she doesn't know, her older sister Gamora will. As I said, Vormir Star was originally my first choice for building the second Hell. Even to Asgard is trying to get the position of Vormir Star. You said, does Odin or Heimdall know the existence of Vormir Star? Chin Hao was a little uncertain. Hela frowned upon hearing this. Since you're not sure, just take her down and ask her. Hela also has a bad temper. After she finished speaking, she rushed out of the ghost gate. Since Chin Hao wanted to ask this woman a question, then let Chin Hao take her down. You helped me get my body back. I'm just helping you with the next woman. What a deal. Loki is taken aback when Hela shows up. It's you. Loki at the moment is really heartbreaking. Voices began to tremble. My sister is not scary, but the people around my sister are too scary. Seeing Hela now, can another person be far behind? That's right, it's me. Hela waved the night sky sword in her hand. The whole thing is infinite sword system. The sound of the terrifying long sword piercing into the flesh sounded. In a blink of an eye, Loki was directly beaten and injured all over his body. Why are you so powerful? Loki doesn't understand at all. The Hela he saw was not powerful. Holding Mjolnir against Ice Titan only shows the extent of the Asgard quartet. But now, Hela is directly crushing him. He didn't have any strength to fight back at all. How is this possible? Hela got her body back. Thinking of this, his whole body began to tremble. So, did Odin and Frigga know what I did? They must have been disappointed that they had failed. On the other side, Xingyan was nailed to the wall by a long sword. From the appearance of Hela to the defeat of Loki and Nebula. Just less than 10 seconds. This is why Hela wants to stay alive. Otherwise, the estimated time required is shorter. Thor at the moment stood up with difficulty. Hela, sister, I'm about to take Loki. He bragged shamelessly. A Loki is not too difficult for him to deal with. But with one more Nebula, he will be in some trouble. Odin is really getting more and more depraved. With your strength, how can you make Asgard sit firmly in the god's domain? Hela still has a look of disdain for Thor. Too weak. Not interested in. After the two were captured, Chin Hao walked from the Ghost Gate to the Stark building. Thor, those big guys in the sky, it's time for you to kill them. Chin Hao then said, okay, let's go. Thor waved Mjolnir and disappeared in an instant. Hela at the moment, put too much pressure on him. When he flew away, he remembered one thing. Hela, is this a physical body? What happened to Father God Odin? Was it killed by them? The more he thought about it, the more frightened he felt. Chin Hao walked forward. What you up to? Loki at the moment turned pale. I don't know if he was faking it or really. Anyway, Chin Hao knows that Loki is very good at acting. It has nothing to do with you. You want to destroy Jotunheim, then Lof will trouble you. Chin Hao passed Loki. His eyes fell on Nebula. The night sky sword stabbed Nebula. The lethality to her is that a few more parts of her body short-circuited. The other is to restrict her movement. Who are you? Nebula at the moment was shocked. The woman in front of me is too strong. He was not her single enemy. I am the Eastern death god Haiwuchang. I am Bai Wuchang, the goddess of death. Nebula looked puzzled. I have never heard of this name at all. Next, I ask and answer. Chin Hao casually dismantled one of Xingyan's arms. Nebula didn't mind that at all. Do you know the location of Vormir Star? Vormir Star, I don't know. Chin Hao was slightly disappointed. In the battleship in the sky, is your sister Gamora there? Xingyan's face changed when he heard the words. What are you looking for her for? You don't know Vormir Star. She knows. I definitely went to ask her. Forget it. I'll know when I go up and see. Hela, let's go up. Quote. The wind gusts under Chin Hao's feet. Fly towards the space channel in the sky with Hela and Nebula directly. As for Loki, don't bother with him. In the mirror dimension, Ancient One led a group of magicians and Zeta Swiss soldiers to start a big battle. Compared with Ice Titan, these soldiers on the technology side are obviously much easier to deal with. Their weapons are powerful though. But Magician's magic shield can defend a lot. The ice magic and ice field of the Ice Titan are more troublesome. The only trouble on the technology side is that their weapons are easy to control and powerful. So everyone has to be careful. But in the dimensional space, they always have the advantage. The entire dimensional space is constantly superimposed and flipped. Those big guys will be swallowed by those buildings directly. Only the nimble individual flight controller was able to escape. Ancient One is manipulating space folding. However, her eyes saw Chin Hao, who was riding the dark wind to fly to the space channel. Done with Asgard so quickly. The goddess of death has taken back her own body. Her aura is now approaching the peak of level Godfather. Death God, now more and more powerful. Quote, Ancient One felt Hela's breath. The limit is close to the peak of level Godfather. It seemed that the other party had obtained his physical body. Are you going straight into the enemy's command position? It seems that this war will end soon. Ancient One has her own judgment. It's a pity that she can't leave and miss the bad show. Holy place, no. Huge warships float in the void of space. The boundless void seemed extraordinarily empty. In the air-sea channel, a gust of wind suddenly came straight towards the battleship. Boom! A long sword shot through the hull of the battleship in an instant. Several figures, Wang's Zhao, entered the battle armor in a blink of an eye. Inside the battleship, two figures seemed to be waiting for the arrival of several people. Opening a door, Chin saw the two figures. Ebony Ma, Black Dwarf, I didn't expect you to be in command here. Chin Hao was slightly surprised at the moment. Ebony Ma is Thanos' general. This time they invaded the Earth and let him sit on the holy place. It can be seen that this time Thanos attaches great importance to it. Meet two death gods. Ebony Ma saw Chin Hao and Hela. He saluted gracefully. You know me. Hela spoke. At first, I just saw some information. But I heard you two when you introduced to Xingyan just now. Did not expect to meet Goddess Hela in person here. Quote, Ebony Ma, just as you are here, I will hand over Nebula to you. Chin Hao at the moment took the initiative to throw Xingyan to Ebony Ma. Ebony Ma psychokinesis launches. Directly let the Nebula fall firmly to the ground. I don't know what orders Lord Death God has. Ebony Ma understood that Death God didn't want to fight. Then he must have something to mention. Tell me where the Vormir star ball is. Chin Hao spoke directly. Vormir star, we haven't heard of it. Ebony Ma shook his head. Then let Thanos deliver Gamora to me, she knows where Skyzer is. Chin Hao unceremoniously asked for someone. What if Lord Thanos doesn't give it? As soon as Ebony Ma said this, the whole scene fell silent. Chin Hao glanced at the two of them. Hela, it seems that the reputation of our death god is still a bit small, it seems that they still don't know us enough. Hela smiled coldly. Two long swords suddenly appeared in her hands. Don't know death god, kill them and you will know it. If you don't know death god, you will know it after killing it. This is the answer Hela gave. For her, the two people in front of her are just a matter of a few swords. Seeing Hela's movement, Ebony Ma flew back a distance. Black Dwarf stepped forward. This is a typical way of fighting where the warrior goes forward and the magician is behind. Seeing this, Hela made a decisive move. The night sky sword is like a fired bullet, flying in the air with a swoosh sound. Ebony Ma psychokinesis launches. He wanted to knock away the long sword that was stabbing at him. But as soon as his spiritual power touched the long sword, his expression suddenly changed. The long sword thrust out by Hela is like a mountain. Ebony Ma's psychokinesis can't be touched at all. With a flash of his figure, he flew out directly. The long sword accurately pierced the place where he was standing just now. Had he been a little slower, he would have been killed. The strength of Death God is really terrifying. My strength can only shake the long sword. How is this possible? Ebony Ma feels incredible. Even if it is steel, he can control it at will. Why can't he move a longsword? Hela looked at Ebony Ma, who dodged the blow. She narrowed her eyes. It's interesting to be able to hide twice. Black Dwarf took this opportunity to rush up to her. The huge mechanical pickaxe smashed hard towards Hela. Black Dwarf's huge body is at least several times that of Hela. That terrifying mechanical pickaxe is even heavier than the night sky sword. However, in the face of Black Dwarf's mechanical pickaxe, Hela directly raised the sword and slashed back. You wanna die? Black Dwarf seems insulted. Such a small person. That waist is not as thick as his wrist. That arm was about the size of one of his fingers. With such a disparity in body, the opponent dared to attack back. Boom. However, things are not as Black Dwarf imagined. I went down with a pickaxe and an axe, and the death god was smashed into meat paste with a pickaxe and axe. On the contrary, he himself was struck back again and again by this sword. Ebony Maw shook his head after Black Dwarf. Asgard's physical body is inherently strong, stronger than their physical body, and the general race is not enough. Even though Hela looks slender, it's easy to hold. But it didn't stop her from erupting with terrifying power. What's more, at the moment Hela has just acquired a physical body. It was when her hands were itchy. Playing Loki, playing Nebula, she didn't exert much power at all. One or two swords can solve each other. At the moment, I finally met two people who could fight her twice. Especially the big man in front of him. He was able to resist her several swords. It's just so cool. Between her shots, she became more and more excited. The terrifying longsword slashed at Black Dwarf's mechanical pickaxe after sword after sword. Black Dwarf was beaten steadily. Behind Black Dwarf, Ebony Maw manipulated the contents of the spaceship to constantly attack Hela. Pissed, Hela looked at the sharp object that came protruding. She didn't even have any intention of dodging. The terrifying metal pierced into her body one by one. She at the moment is not only not angry. Instead, there was an excited smile on his face. Ha ha ha, I finally feel the feeling of being hurt. Ha ha ha, come again. Hela at the moment went crazy. Been suffocated for nearly 2,000 years. At the moment, she felt herself being real again. Ebony Maw watched as Hela yanked out the metal that had been stabbed into his body. Even he is feeling huge amounts of pressure. The Asgard Protoss are really too powerful. Their natural advantages are too obvious. But he wouldn't let Hela be so rampant. More and more powerful objects stabbed towards Hela. It's the kindness of this goddess to let you stab me. Do you still want to come? Hela's tone was contemptuous. If you don't want to feel the feeling of being hurt, can your little bit of psychokinesis hurt yourself? She grabbed Black Dwarf, who couldn't dodge, blocked him in front of himself. Immediately afterwards, she rushed to Ebony Maw with Black Dwarf in hand. Ebony Maw kept waving his hand trying to move Black Dwarf away. But in Hela's hands, he couldn't move it away at all. Not only that, Ebony Maw also saw a scene that horrified him. Hela pierced Black Dwarf with a long sword in his hand. The tip of the sword pierced through the black DBCB dwarf and came straight to him. Hela is going to kill two corpses with one sword. Seeing this, Ebony Maw's expression became more dignified. Goddess of death, ready to kill. He had to run away from Hela's long sword in a little embarrassment. Avoid Hela's fierce sword. Can you hide? Hela dropped Black Dwarf. She continued to stab Ebony Maw with the long sword in her hand. The lost Black Dwarf was stepped on by Chin Hao. The injured Black Dwarf was about to struggle. The morning stick in Chin Hao's hand hit Black Dwarf hard. In the blink of an eye, Black Dwarf stopped moving. His soul had already been knocked out of his body by Chin Hao. If he can't go back, he's really dead. The soul of Black Dwarf was furious and wanted to fight. Chin Hao waved his hand slightly, and a soul hook bound Black Dwarf's soul in an instant, making him unable to move. Such a person, go to ice hell and suffer some torture. He has arrangements for where the Black Dwarf will go. As for whether Black Dwarf's death would make Thanos angry, what's the matter with him? I am the death god, and it is absolutely reasonable to receive souls. Thanos came, and the Thanos was also collected. Thinking of Thanos, Chin Hao's mind flashed. What to charge Thanos for? Wait until your own hell has more layers. I can wait until Thanos snaps his fingers. After he snapped his fingers, he sent an envoy to collect the souls. He closes the gate of hell to the entire universe by himself. At that time, I could overwhelm the hell with ghosts in one go. Days like this are heaven. Don't stick to cause and effect. Collect countless souls. Even if the creation god dies, there is nothing he can do about it. Those people did not kill themselves. Thinking of this, Chin Hao made new arrangements for the few people here. Hela, take Ebony Maw and we'll trade Thanos. If he doesn't do it, they will all be killed to fill hell. Quote. Catch alive, don't play anymore. After Hela finished speaking, the long sword in his hand suddenly shone with light. This sword stabbed out fiercely directly. Ebony Maw was terrified. He can't dodge this sword at all. It was as if he was completely locked by Hela. No matter how you hide, the terrifying long sword still pierced Ebony Maw's arm directly. The meaning of Hela is obvious. Want to live, but didn't say want to be complete. Wait, I admit defeat. Ebony Maw decisively admit defeat. He flew away for a distance to one side. But Hela's long sword still pierced Ebony Maw's body fiercely. One arm was bleeding. Hela finally stopped. She glanced at Ebony Maw. I hope you will repent, and I will kill you with one sword. Hela at the moment had a calm face. Chin Hao stepped forward resolutely and grabbed Hela's slender waist. I'm not happy with the fight, I'll play with you later. Okay, let's talk about it later. Hela backhanded Chin Hao's strong waist. Chin Hao looked at Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw, tell Thanos to trade the three of you for Gamora, or Vormir Star's place. He waved the morning stick lightly in his hand. The soul of Xing Yun on one side was also directly shot out of the body. Her mechanical body suddenly seemed to have completely turned into a machine. Ebony Maw looked at all this with horror. He cannot see the souls of Black Dwarf and Nebula. He thought, Death God killed those two. Ebony Maw decisively connected to Thanos. What's up? Thanos' voice came from the other side. My lord, we failed to attack the Earth this time, and we also encountered Death God. Ebony Maw briefly described the current situation. Thanos is silent for a moment. If you fail, then withdraw your troops. Yes, Lord Thanos. The two Death Gods, Black and White, are my people still alive? Thanos heard Ebony Maw say Black Dwarf and Nebula fell to the ground. He wondered if they were still alive. I am Death God, I want him to die so he can die, I don't want him to die, he can live naturally. Chin Hao's confident voice sounded. I see, I will exchange Vormir Star's position with you. Thanos agreed to Chin Hao's conditions. Not to hand over Gamora. Instead, hand over the location of Vormir Star. No problem. As Chin Hao spoke, he walked to Ebony Maw's side. Hurry up and give the order. After you give the order, don't be like them. He pointed to the Black Dwarf and Nebula lying on the ground. On the Earth, suddenly everyone found that the attacking aliens began to withdraw gradually. They destroyed most of New York and killed at least millions of people. They also left countless corpses and equipment that belonged to them. And then gradually evacuated. Chin Hao was on the Holy Place battleship, watching the retreating Zeta Swiss soldiers. He finally understood that the Chitauri were bio-warriors. A warrior controlled by some kind of intelligent brain. So they have no soul. Chitauri, who have souls, are chiefs. In the dimension space, Ancient One saw the scene outside. A slight smile appeared on her face. Sure enough, as soon as you go, this war will be over. She opened a portal casually. The Zeta Swiss soldiers in the dimensional space gradually evacuated. Don't know what happened though. But since the order received is to retreat, they are definitely going to retreat. The aliens retreated, and everyone finally breathed a sigh of relief. Tony landed in the Stark building with the broken armor. At the moment, the energy in his reactor was seriously low. Even the Hulk, who loathed them, at the moment gasped a bit. As for Captain Rogers, at the moment he felt physically exhausted. Everyone who came to support, at the moment also moved their overexcited and nervous bodies. They survived. Next is the start of the rescue operation. Tony, on the other hand, took a fancy to Tesseract. The Tesseract is not lifted, and the Earth is like an unobstructed girl. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't close it. Hulk, the abomination, also tried brute force. Unfortunately, it failed. Thor struck with the force of thunder. Not only failed to solve the crisis, but also made the machine more powerful. What should we do? We can't deal with this thing. Dr. Banner spread his large shit yellow hands. Perhaps, we can only ask Death God for a while. Tony suggested a solution that wasn't a solution. Problems that cannot be solved by themselves. Then let your leaders solve it. They are employees of Death God, so it is reasonable to ask Death God to help them. The Death God, at the moment they are thinking about, is holding the scepter with a solemn expression. This thing has always been in Xing Yun's hands. Ding, a special cosmic treasure has been detected. This treasure has a special function. Function 1. Integrate power into Hell, and the yin soldiers and yin generals rewarded by the system will all have thinking. Function 2. The power is integrated into the host's body, and the host's strength is greatly improved. Looking at these two special roles, Chin Hao fell into deep thought. The allure of role 2 is astonishing. But there's one thing, that way he's bound to the gem. In the Marvel Universe, there are countless people who may come to collect gems. Once you have integrated into the power of gems, at that time, if someone collects gems, they will take their own knife to kill people and seize treasures. You are the one who was killed. Although it is very likely that one gem will go down, and his strength will surpass the god level. However, there must be other existences beyond the god level in this universe. For example, obtaining the existence of the heart of the universe. That's too dangerous. Infusing the power of the gem into hell is different. Even if someone wants it, just take the gems out of hell again. At that time, hell may shatter again. You can slowly find a way to recover. Even, it is possible that hell is not broken. It's just that those yin soldiers and yin generals with thinking have turned into machine ghosts again. The more important point is that Chin Hao's strength will also increase as hell improves. So then, bind, mind gem. Chin Hao might as well contribute the power of gems to hell. However, if I really fuse the power of gems, so Thanos couldn't find the 6 infinite gems. Without 6 infinite gems, why would Thanos snap his fingers? He wanted to snap his fingers and eventually had to face me. At that time, should I cooperate with him? If I take the initiative to offer gems, won't I be contaminated with karma? Chin Hao fell into a difficult choice. Chin Hao was entangled in the fact that Thanos couldn't snap his fingers without gems. I can't harvest souls without cause and effect. It is a bit tangled whether to use gems or not. Thanos, who was chanted by him, appeared directly in Vormir star. Beside him is Gamora, although Gamora has been reluctant to come here. But Thanos naturally has his means. After some games, Gamora was finally defeated. She brought Thanos to the Vormir star. Here, Thanos meets the Asgardian Red Skull of the Soul Gem. After that, he understood everything. Could it be that Death God wanted this location just for Soul Gem? Thanos was lost in thought. What is known today as the Space Gem and the Mind Gem that I gave away? Together with the Soul Gem here, there are 3 gems. Time Gem is rumored to be in the line of Sorcerer Supreme on Earth. There are only 4 gems in total. It's been a while since the Power Gem, but Collector T1 has already issued a bounty. On the contrary, Reality Gem has not heard of it for thousands of years. Thanos figured out the ownership and location of all the gems. After much calculation, now I know the location of 4 gems at most. The key is that among the 4 gems, the Time Gem is not yet available. Sorcerer Supreme's reputation isn't showing any signs of fading just yet. Letting Ebony Maw and the others attack the Earth actually has the factor of testing the defense forces on the Earth. It now appears that the line of Sorcerer Supreme is still very strong. After participating in the war in Norway, he immediately participated in the war in New York. The point is, the ancient hand mirror dimension directly abolished the large army. Looks like we still have to wait for the reaction between Mind Gem and Space Gem. If you can activate the Power Gem and Reality Gem, then it's time for me to make a move. As for the Soul Gem here was obtained by Death God. If you really want to make a move, you also save the process of collecting this gem. The only trouble is that he may use the blessing of the 3 gems of space, mind and soul. At that time I wanted to get these gems again. The energy required will be much greater. Quote, Thanos counts it all. The 2 gems have yet to show up. Now the Soul Gem in front of me is not very useful. Even, he didn't think he couldn't get these gems. This is a wise man's confidence in himself. Gamora, you already knew that there was a Soul Gem here but you didn't tell me. You will pay the price accordingly. Originally I didn't intend to hand you over to the Death God, I just wanted to tell them the location. Now, I will hand you over to the other party. I just wanted to see if you would tell them where this is. Tell them that the other party will sacrifice an innocent life in order to get the gem. If you don't tell them, you may die, and someone may die because of you. Because, the other party is Death God, killing people is what they do originally. At that time, how should you choose? Thanos knew what Gamora was thinking. Now he wants to completely smash all the ego of the other party. Holy place, no. Qin Hao gave up studying the psychic scepter. Because a spirit is haunting him. Nebula. Nebula's soul is exactly what it was before the transformation. Tall and tall, exquisite face, and Hela are completely two styles. Hela is the big devil. The aura is fully open, breathtaking. As for Xingyun, she was like a little girl who was angry. She looked at Qin Hao with tears in her eyes. My soul turned out to be human, and I thought I was completely turned into a machine. Her voice trembled, tears blurred. This doesn't fit her personality at all. She should be that kind of arrogant and rebellious. For being angry with Gamora, for overcoming Gamora. She would even do anything. But now, when she sees that her soul is still a normal body, she actually broke down. At the moment, she gives people an impulse to protect. At the moment Qin Hao traveled in the flesh again. Being pestered by such a woman always feels a little special. Since you don't want to be a machine, then you should be the seducer of the underworld. Qin Hao directly handed the other party a soul ecstasy token. Become a soul ecstasy. Nebula ended up with a soul ecstasy order. A wave of knowledge gradually imprinted in her mind. Is this the soul seducer? She totally understood. Master Wuchang, you can build a god body with divine power, can you build a god body for me? I don't want that cold machine body anymore. Nebula may have lost his body for too long. Perhaps the grudge against Gamora runs too deep. Anyway, what she wants most now is to get rid of that machine body. Are you sure? Once you choose the divine body, your soul will never return to the body. I'm sure. My body, it's just a machine. It's impossible for a body with divine power to reproduce. Lord Death God, do you think my machine body can still reproduce? Qin Hao was stunned by this question. They are all machines, so what kind of offspring are they going to reproduce? Nebula doesn't have any nostalgia for her body. Okay, I agree. Qin Hao grabbed it casually, and a huge divine power took shape in his hands. Immediately afterwards, divine power poured into Xingyun's body. Her whole body gradually began to condense into a human form. Invisible soul plus visible divine power. A divine body appeared directly in front of him. Bling. Graceful. Nebula stroked her body excitedly. Divine power structure, except for being unable to have children, except for being golden. The other senses are actually the same as the body. Moreover, even if it is golden, she can hide the golden light when she is familiar with the divine power. At that time, the appearance will look no different from that of a normal human being. Thank you, Master Wuchang. A spaceship travels through many jumps and finally arrives at the place where the holy place stopped. The spacecraft sailed into the holy place. A moment later, a person appeared in front of Qin Hao. Gamora. Thanos changed the conditions. Didn't he say to tell me the location of Vormir star? In the end, he sent you over. Qin Hao didn't expect that Thanos is also a guy who doesn't talk too much. But Gamora at the moment's attention is all on Nebula. At the moment's Nebula is golden. But it looks like flesh. The mechanical body was falling to the ground. Xingyun, what's wrong with you? Gamora's face was full of disbelief. Nebula, how could it become like this? Gamora, my business has nothing to do with you. Nebula didn't wait to see each other at all. Even if she really wanted a sister in her heart. But her arrogant personality made it impossible for her to admit it. Death God, what did you do to Nebula? Gamora set her eyes on Qin Hao. These things have nothing to do with you, you are just my deal with Thanos. Well, you can go back. With a wave of the morning stick in Qin Hao's hand, the souls of Ebony Maw and Black Dwarf instantly returned to his body. The two opened their eyes immediately. At the moment, the two were horrified, they clearly saw what happened here. I have seen the powerful power of this death god, which almost turned decay into magic. At the moment, they no longer have the intention to fight death god. The reason why we dare to fight Hela. It is because they didn't know what death god represented at all. I don't know how terrifying the strength of death god is. But this time they saw it. Defeated by Hela, the goddess of death, is just the simplest manifestation of strength. What's more, what another death god who has never made a move is even more shocking. He reshaped the physical body for Nebula. A golden body. If it wasn't for the color of this flesh body, They could hardly feel the difference between this physical body and Xing Yun's normal body. Know that they are all soul states at that time. If only every soul could reshape flesh like this sun. Then this death god has the ability to bring people back from the dead. Even now they are still thinking about a problem. What kind of abilities does that reshaped body have? If this physical body really possesses some special powers, well, that's a powerful temptation for anyone. Such as the powerful self-healing ability. For example, this physical body doesn't worry about ordinary physical damage at all. Because this physical body is made by divine power. As long as there is a supplement of divine power, it can always exist. If it really belongs to this Wukai, Ebony Ma's psychokinesis is indeed powerful, but his body is fragile. If the body is not injured, his strength will become extremely terrifying. Definitely, it's just a thought. He knew that once transformed into such a form, it would definitely be controlled by Death God. Once he does not provide divine power, then everything will become clouds. But this is for the living. If a person has died and only his soul remains, what else should he consider? Those dead souls can bring a huge army to this Death God. I can't think about these things. The more I think about it, the more terrifying I feel. Thanos' legion is very strong, but after all, he only relies on an army composed of several races. Death God is able to organize the most elite part of each race. With such a terrifying team, who can stop them? He must tell Lord Thanos the news. Ebony Ma solemnly bowed to Qin Hao. Thank you, Lord Death God, for sparing us. This thank you is from the bottom of my heart. It doesn't matter, this is just a transaction, and the most important thing for Death God is the transaction. Qin Hao naturally has his principles of doing things. Death God also has the rules of Death God. Ebony Ma drove Nebula and Black Dwarf to leave the holy place. Qin Hao took Hela and Gamora back to Earth in another small spaceship through the space channel. Martial law has long been imposed on the Stark building. Here it was taken over by the Global Safety Council. Countless scientists are trying to crack the powerful energy brought by Tesseract here. Now New York has been cleared, and the city is full of soldiers. All kinds of powerful weapons are aimed at the space crack. They looked at the huge holy place in the universe from the space rift. The holy place is gone. A small spaceship passed through the space crack. All the weapons were aimed at the small spaceship. But the people inside don't care what the people outside think. Qin Hao let Gamora drive the small spaceship to land on the Marshall Stark building. He's taking Tesseract, since the mind gem in the mind scepter has a special ability. Then Tesseract must have a special ability for hell. That being the case, how could he give up such a treasure? And if this thing is placed in Asgard, it is placed on Odin Curry and covered with ashes. Bring it to yourself, after all, there is still some use. Seeing the spaceship land on the Stark building, all the soldiers on guard aimed their weapons at the spaceship. Qin Hao and Hela got off, but they got stuck and were left on the boat. Stop, raise your hands and surrender. The moment they appeared, someone below scolded them. If you leave now, I will treat you as if you don't exist. Qin Hao ignored these mortals. He walked towards Tesseract on his own. The scientists gave way one after another. No one dares to stand in front of him at the moment. I tell you to stop. The leader does not believe in evil. Kill, Hela spoke. Kill it. The night sky sword in Hela's hand was shot instantly. The person who had just spoken was stabbed through and nailed to the wall. Seeing this, other agents pulled the trigger one after another. The night sky sword in Hela's hand kept shining. All the agents on the entire Stark building were slaughtered by him. All the scientists were trembling aside. When Hela stopped, Qin Hao happened to be standing in front of Tesseract. He tried to reach out. Tesseract's powerful protective force, Qin Hao, could not be broken with bare hands. Can't you take it away? Hela walked over with a look of interest. And harvested several souls. This thing deserves her joy. What's even happier is that she killed someone, but Qin Hao didn't stop her. This is the partner she wants most. As for the Tesseract in front of me, it once appeared in Asgard's treasury. Now it is taken away by her and Qin Hao. In a sense, this is returning things to their original owners. Don't worry, you can take it away. After Qin Hao finished speaking, the psychic scepter in his hand stabbed fiercely at Tesseract. The power of the two gems collided and cancelled each other. A powerful energy storm crazily spread in all directions from the place where the two gems touched. Those agents who were just about to enter the building were directly blown away by this powerful energy. Chin Hao finally caught the Tesseract. Ding! A special cosmic treasure has been detected. This treasure has a special function. Function 1. Integrate power into the hell, reshape the pattern of the underworld, and connect all levels of hell with each other. Function 2. The power is integrated into the host's body, and the host's strength is greatly improved. Chapter 51. The moment Chin Hao got the Tesseract. The system prompts again. Space gems and mind gems have their own special powers. The second role is the same. Improve Chin Hao's personal strength. Chin Hao still chose to give up. This thing is not suitable for binding. But the first role of the space gem is very interesting. Reshape the pattern of the underworld, and the hells on all levels are connected to each other. Space gem originally is to change space, or to use the powerful power of space. Its integration into hell can change the pattern of the underworld. For this alone, Chin Hao is more interested in space gems than mind gems. Mind gem can make those systems in the underworld reward characters with thinking. Chin Hao didn't think this was very important, because most of the yin soldiers rewarded by the underworld are tool people. Only judges like Wei Zheng, Tuan has a more important role. But when the system rewarded him, he originally had his own thinking. For the remaining yin soldiers and yin generals, does it matter whether they have thinking? Unimportant. If you don't have thinking, just complete the operation of the underworld mechanically. With thinking, is there anything better that can be done? On the contrary, it may bring some unnecessary troubles to Chin Hao. But the space gem works differently. Reshape the hell pattern and connect all hells together. You know there are 2 layers of hell now. The first floor is Lake Hemming Sea. The second floor is Jotunheim. These 2 layers of hell originally belonged to the 9 realms, but there is no close distance between them. Chin Hao, in order to maintain the connection between the 2 hells, it needs a strong force to support it. Once he has the space gem, he can directly connect the 2 hells of 5, 6, 7. In this way, Chin Hao and the system can directly save the maintenance of the 2 layers of hell. This alone can bring him huge amounts of benefits. The system no longer maintains the passage of these 2 layers of hell. Then more power from the system will be fed back to Chin Hao. In this sense, the space gem has greatly accelerated the improvement of Chin Hao's strength. More importantly, he will open up more hells in the future, such as Vormir Star. At that time, each layer of hell was separated by billions of voids. The system will expend enormous power to maintain all this. In that way, less power will be fed back to Chin Hao. More hell, less feedback. This is not what Chin Hao wants. Thinking of this, he put away the space gem and mind gem decisively. Take Hela and Gamora directly through the gate of hell. Those ordinary people who were about to make trouble for them just watched the other party disappear. Shield. Nick Fury looked solemnly at Chin Hao and Hela, who had disappeared. These 2 people are really too mysterious. Norway has them, New York has them. Hela is okay, at least there are traces. God of Asgard. Odin's eldest daughter. Thor's sister. But, what about Haiwuchang? Really believe they are the Haiwuchang of the East? How could Nick Fury believe that? He always believed that Haiwuchang must also be an alien. Just like Thor crossing Hela. Thor at the moment is berating Loki. Loki was immediately taken into custody. It is impossible to let go in a short time. New York has lost too much this time. Millions of lives. It's all on Loki. Didn't kill Loki on the spot, or they were scruples about Asgard's Bifrost. Everyone has seen Tony's video. After that, no one could keep calm. Bifrost. Star Destroyer weapon. Earth, what dance? The only good news is the black and white impermanence that just appeared. They saved the Ice Titans in Jotunheim. In New York, it also saved countless citizens here. God's domain is killing people. Death God is saving lives. Is this world crazy? Among the 9 realms, Thor said that the Death God lives in Helm Hades. Are they from this realm? Nick Fury extrapolated directly to this conclusion. Tony nodded. Based on what Thor said, our guess is the same. It seems that we need support, the Asgard Protoss, the Jotunheim Ice Titan, the Death God of Helm Hades, and the strange aliens in New York. What on earth can we hold against them? Support, can we still have support? Tony's face was full of disbelief. Tony, trust me, there is something. Nick Fury said categorically. In no one's place, he took out an old BB machine. Carol, it looks like Earth needs your support. Too many forces have come to Earth in a short period of time. The Earth can't bear it anymore. Here, we need your support. Tony and the others had no idea where Nick Fury's confidence came from. Unknown to everyone, Nick Fury called back a big killer. Helm Hades. Gamora was seeing hell for the first time. Dark sky, countless undead. It's gloomy. Card monster, I know you haven't thought about telling me where the Jumare star is. I don't want to ask you for the time being, you go directly to hell for a while. After Chin Hao finished speaking, a group of Yin soldiers came directly and took Gamora to tongue-pulling prison. Compared with speaking, Chin Hao prefers to do it. Let Gamora experience the hospitality of hell. I'll think about telling you the location of Vormir star later. If only she could endure the punishment in hell and keep going. Then Chin Hao has to tell him. Admire. Unfortunately, such a person has never appeared in the underworld. Gamora was sent away, only Chin Hao and Hela were left here. I see that you are very interested in these two treasures. Is there anything special about them? Hela is very observant. From the holy place, she saw that Chin Hao cared very much about the spiritual scepter. After returning to Earth, he went straight to Tesseract without saying anything. Hela also knew that two things might be special, but in her impression, she only knows the teleportation ability of space magic. You'll know soon. Chin Hao's tone at the moment was slightly excited. The system integrates space mimicry and space gems into territories. He said to the system silently in his heart. Ding, the existence of space gems has been detected, starting to integrate space gems into hell. The pattern of the underworld is being reshaped. The first layer of Helheim Hades has been discovered. The second hell, the ice hell, Jotunheim, has been discovered. Build a special passage to hell. Expand the range of hell radiation. Strengthening hell special building. Strengthening hell. Broadening Wangquan Road. Extend the Wangchuan River. Reset the Nehi Bridge. The sound of the system constantly rang in Chin Hao's ears. All Hela could feel was that the ground was trembling slightly. She turned her head to look at Wangquan Road behind her. It was found that the whole Wangquan Road became wider and wider. No matter how many souls walk on this road, it will become less crowded. And because she is also the goddess of death in Helm Hades. At the moment, she even felt that her strength had improved a little. The strength that originally needed to be accumulated in Asgard with time has been improved here. She is obviously already extremely close to the peak of level Godfather. At the moment's improvement made her strength truly reach the peak of level Godfather. There is also a gap at the peak of level Godfather. Just like Odin and Ancient One are both the pinnacle of level Godfather. Odin will have more stamina than Monday because of his stronger body. Hela has now become the pinnacle of level Godfather. She can actually continue to improve her own strength. Just like Odin actually reached the peak of level Godfather a long time ago. Asgard's body makes them stronger with age. It is equivalent to that they are still continuing to improve on the basis of the peak of level Godfather. If you want to elaborate, it is that the current Hela is the first to enter the peak of level Godfather. Odin has reached the peak limit of level Godfather. Hela is still a long way from being unable to continue to improve her strength. For this distance, she needs to accumulate it constantly in Asgard. The longer she stays, the more panicked her strength becomes. Chin Hao felt the boiling breath in Hela's body. Finally peaked. Quote. Hela shook her head when she heard the words. Although I have achieved the pinnacle of level Godfather, I found that there is still a long way to go before entering the God level, and I still need to settle down. I know that the time is still very long, and it can slowly settle. There is one thing that may be very interesting next. Chin Hao waved the mind scepter in his hand. System, send mind gem integrate to hell. Ding, the existence of mind gem has been detected, and the mind gem has been integrated into hell. Scan the map of the underworld. Detect the location of the underworld. Mind gem incorporates location determination. Mind gem into the Department of Rewards. The Department of Rewarding Goodness is in the process of strengthening. The branch hall of the Rewarding Division is under construction. Ice Hell builds the branch hall of the rewarding division. The sound of the system constantly rang in Chin Hao's ears again. Immediately afterwards, Heiner saw a scene that made her feel unbelievable. That golden Soul Castle at the moment, which was changed by Chin Hao to Ascension Division, is in the process of crazy expansion. Its height is not as high as the Hades Palace, but its breadth is expanding infinitely. Even the Hall of the Chancellor runs through all the minor hells of Helm Hades. Tongue-pulling prison, scissors prison. All hells can see the existence of Ascendancy. How is this going? Hela didn't understand. Chin Hao thought about how to answer. This is to stimulate all hell souls, and at the same time strengthen the sense of belonging and fear in the hearts of all hell staff. The original Ascension Division is next to the Hall of King Yama. Gives a feeling of living in a corner. The Department of Appreciation originally is for those souls who deserve to be rewarded to live. And let the staff of the underworld live in it. The rewarding department has 3 functions. Repair the soul, pacify the demons, and enhance the strength of the soul. All 3 functions are the most important for the soul. Now Ascendancy went straight through the little hell of Helm Hades. Let all the jailers of Helm's Hades easily return to the Department of Rewards for recuperation. They no longer have to go through other hells and return to the side of Hades Hall. And because Mind Gem enables them to have a mind. So when they return to the Department of Rewards, they will be purified inside. It can also be said to be a kind of brainwashing. These clerks will watch the evil spirits tortured in the hell outside. But they are improving their soul strength inside. This originally is a strong contrast. Even if these souls have their own thinking, they dare not have other thoughts. Once they rebel, they will wonder whether they will also fall into hell and be tortured like this in the end. For those endless demons in hell, Ascendancy was originally full of temptations for them. They desperately want to enter the Ascension Division. But there are jailers in the underworld, and they will never be able to achieve this goal. Physical torture, soul torture, now it still comes from mental torture. This will make them feel more painful. Heaven is right in front of my eyes, I can't get in by myself. This is Mind Gem, the change brought to Helm Hades. Hela, go to Ice Hell. The system prompts that in Ice Hell, there is also a branch hall of Ascension Division. Chin Hao waved his hand, and a passage quickly appeared. If the divine power consumed was 10 points before, then the divine power consumed is only 1 point now. That's the difference made by the dreaded space gem. And the space gem is constantly improving this channel. In the end he didn't even need to build the channel himself. A complete passage will directly connect the 2 layers of hell. Hela also clearly felt the change. Because he is only the master of Helm's Hell. So even if Chin Hao gave her permission, she wants to go to the Ice Hell, and the power she consumes will be amazing. Now she feels that the divine power she needs to mobilize is less than 10% of the original. So, this is Tesseract's change to hell. Hela finally understands why Chin Hao cares so much about those 2 things. That's right, Chin Hao walked through the passage and entered the Ice Hell. When the 2 entered this layer of hell, looking at everything in front of me feels a little unreal. In the blue ice world, countless golden halls appeared. Their light shines like the sun over the whole world. Countless ice titans enter the Department of Rewards to check. Inside, they felt extremely comfortable. So when the 2 came over, they saw countless ice titans moving. Their destination is Ascendancy's palace. Ice titans have survived countless years in this world. But when the Ascension Division Hall appeared, their living habits changed instantly. There are great places, they are definitely going to live. These ice titans, it seems that they can no longer escape your control. Hela felt something. Chin Hao smiled. When they leave their names in the book of life and death, they can't escape. Hela looked at Chin Hao, who was all smiles. She is also full of joy. She turned around and hugged Chin Hao. Chin, I have a physical body. Chin Hao was taken aback for a moment, then picked up Hela and went straight to an empty Ascension Division. That's right, I have a physical body, I almost forgot about it. In the Department of Appreciation, Chin Hao and Hela haven't left for a few days. The physical strength of the 2-level Godfather peaks is astonishing. Stamina, recovery, strength, speed. A few days later, Chin Hao and Hela finally walked out of the Department of Appreciation. It's not that we can't continue communicating. It was because Chin Hao thought of someone. Gamora. He sends the imps to take Gamora into the little hell. Then forget about her. What I want is the position of Vormir star. Not really trying to torture each other. Back in Hades, Chin Hao went to hell. When he came back, he held a sluggish figure in his hand. This is Gamora. Gamora, can you tell me the location of Vormir star? Chin Hao took the initiative to ask. At the moment Gamora seems to have collapsed. Take a walk in this little hell. She has fully understood the horror of death god. I understand the horror of hell. In fact, on the second day of going to hell, she couldn't bear it anymore. However, no one cares about her. No orders from Lord Death God. Who dares to let her out? The only thing the jailers do is prevent her from escaping from hell. After enduring the torture of one hell, immediately transfer her to another hell. Repeatedly. Endless. After so many days, Chin Hao remembered her. What do you want to know the coordinates of Vormir star? Gamora subconsciously asked. Go and have a look. I heard that there is a soul gem there. I'll go and see if it's suitable for transforming into a layer of hell. Chin Mo didn't hide anything. This matter is not worth hiding. Anyway, if it really fits there, it would be a world of hell. Then there will be no Vormir star in the future. All that remains is the third layer of hell. Does anyone know what's going on here? If Vormir star is not suitable. Chin Hao just finished reading it. For the time being, he has no idea of killing a lover for a soul gem. Someone actually swapped out the soul gem. It's not that I don't know how to grab what I need. Gamora froze in place after hearing Chin Hao's words. You're here for Vormir star, not soul gem. Gamora's voice trembled. She always thought that the other party's goal was soul gem. But in the end, she found out that she was wrong. I have suffered for so long in vain. Soul gem, if you can get that thing, you can get it. If you can't get it, forget it. You need to know one thing, if only I had the soul gem. Wouldn't it be more difficult for your father Thanos to get the soul gem? Another point, if there becomes hell, then it will be very difficult for soul gem to be obtained by others. Because the next time they come to get the gems, they have to go to hell. Do you think it is possible to take away those things in my world? Chin Hao didn't want to understand what Gamora was thinking. Maybe it's just a bad brain. That's why he fell in love with that idiot Xingju. Makes sense. Gamora slumped on the ground with some powerlessness. If you had told me earlier that your purpose was this, I would have told you the coordinates directly. All I've been telling Thanos is the position of Vormir star. Chin Hao had an expression of, I've already said it, on his face. This time, Gamora was even more powerless. Thanos, after all. Hela listened to the conversation between the two. She looked at Gamora sympathetically. This is the consequence of persisting indiscriminately without knowing the reason. There was no need to be tortured at all, but now it makes the spirit listless. Okay, first tell me the location of Vormir star, and then I will take you to Ascension division for arrest. Gamora had no choice but to tell Chin Hao the location of Vormir star. After that, Chin Hao brought Gamora back to the Department of Rewards. Gamora, who entered the Ascension division, felt like she had come to heaven. The torment she has suffered in the past few days has also hurt her soul. But now it is being healed quickly here. Not only that, her soul, her heart was severely traumatized in hell. After entering here, it gradually became stable. Not long after entering here, she felt alive again. After a while, Chin Hao asked someone to take her out of the Department of Appreciation. Gamora looked back at Shang Shanxi with some nostalgia. She doesn't want to leave there at all right now. Hela looked at Gamora's nostalgic look. There was a slight movement in her heart. Shang Shanxi seems to have a powerful brainwashing ability. Myself, do you want to bring all the people from Asgard to try? It's been nearly 2,000 years. They may have already forgotten themselves. Loyalty simply does not exist. Well, forget about brainwashing them directly. Originally she didn't care about those Asgard warriors. She has a powerful army of undead. There must be Fenrir, the mighty wolf. Even if she slaughtered all Asgard's warriors, she wouldn't feel bad. But it's different now. Chin Hao's hells are getting more and more heavens. More and stronger guards are needed. Asgard's warriors are a good weapon. That's right, that's it. She has a decision in her mind. Take us to Vormir star next. Chin Hao let Gamora lead the way. After dozens of jumps, Gamora finally led the two into Vormir Star. They found where the Red Skull was. When Chin Hao stepped onto this cliff, the sound of the system rang in his ears. It has been detected that the local area contains powerful soul power, and this place can be transformed into a third layer of hell. Chin Hao nodded in satisfaction. I'm thinking about it here. Finally did not let myself down. The system was originally intended to transform the Soul Castle into a third layer of hell. But Soul Castle was turned into Shangshan Division by Chin Hao. Then a little hell. The rewarding division is clearly able to play more roles. Now the location of the third layer of hell, he finally confirmed again. Red Skull looked at Chin Hao with anxiety. The other party seems to regard this place as their own territory. Daughter of Odin, Hela, goddess of death, I wonder why you are here. And this death god, I can barely see your past. Now, what's the matter with you guys coming here together? Red Skull's tone is calm, but his heart is shocked. He is the master of Soul Gem. He can look into anyone's soul. But no matter what, he couldn't see Chin Hao's soul and past. Hearing Red Skull's words, Chin Hao casually glanced at him. I'll just take a look here and I'm happy with it right now. As for what to do here, I have taken a fancy to this place. I decided to make it my domain. Quote, at the moment Chin Hao's tone was like a leader inspecting his subordinates. Red Skull was terrified when he heard this. You want to make this your place? That's right. Chin Hao walked to the edge of the cliff on his own. Then stand still. System, transform Vormir Star into the third layer of hell. Ding, order received. Vormir Star is undergoing transformation. The third layer of hell is being established. Building the Yellow Spring Road. Gojian's Ghost Gate. Open up the Wangchuan River. Build the Bridge of Nehi. Build the Palace of the King of Hades. Build a branch hall for rewarding good deeds. Shock. Global shock. Vormir Star began to change wildly. Red Skull has been here for decades. He looked up and looked around in astonishment. Here, it has completely changed. There are countless buildings inside that he has never seen before. A huge hall of the King of Hades stands on the side of this mountain. Next to the hall of the King of Hades is a shining golden building. Farther away, there was the sound of rumbling water. That was the sound of the Wangchuan River flowing by. Because Vormir Star originally has a lot of water, so the river suddenly became incomparably wider. At the end of the line of sight, there seemed to be huge amounts of doors standing in the distance. Visible changes have been made. The invisible changes are still going on. Ding, Space Gem builds a tunnel to the underworld. The layout of the underworld is reorganized. The construction of the third layer of hell is complete. Detected the soul of the third layer of hell. Detect the characteristics of the soul. All souls die in vain. The third level of hell is named Hell of Undeserved Death. A series of voices continued to sound constantly. This is the power of the Space Gem. The third hell is connected to the first and second hells. The complete third layer of hell finally appeared. The system also named Hell. In vain Hell. Those who come here to exchange souls are all people whose lifespan is not yet exhausted. They sacrifice their loved one's life in exchange for the soul gem. According to the rules of the underworld, all those who died in this way must enter the city of death. However, the city of undeserved death is not the same as this hell of undeserved death. In the city of death in vain, they can live freely there until his lifespan is exhausted. But once you enter this hell of death in vain, then the soul will suffer endless torment from the pain of his unjust death. If it is a jump, the fear and pain of jumping will be repeated forever. If he takes poison, he will endure the pain of poison torture forever. Not everyone who dies in vain will enter the hell of vain death. Those who come here are all suicides. This is disrespect for life. The people here can't be reincarnated as adults in the end. In the next life, they will become livestock, animals. Vormir Star, an inexplicable match with Death Hell. Two people in love come here. For Soul Gem, one party watched his lover die here with his own eyes. This pain will follow the survivors for the rest of their lives. The dead will also suffer different punishments in the underworld according to what they did during their lifetime. Chin Hao felt the penetration of the three hells. 3 layers of hell. The first level of hell, Hyam Hades, is full of ghosts. There originally was the abode of the dead. There are countless ghosts and undead inside. After that, almost all the dead souls went there again. It made the place even more haunted. Ice Hell is a newly constructed layer of hell. There are countless ice titans inside. For now, and mostly, the ice titans and their spirits. Then the number of souls, there. Nothing compares to Hades. And in this third layer of hell, there are only a few souls. The whole hell looks empty. If it wasn't for Chin Hao, they would come inside. It's just a living being in the red hole. He is an Asgardian from Soul Gem. At the moment has a strange feeling. He is ostracized. What the hell have you done to this place? Red Skull asked Chin Hao. Chin Hao took a look at Red Skull and thought about it seriously. Red Skull, starting today, I will give you the position of prison master of hell. As soon as Chin Hao finished speaking, the book of life and death unfolded in front of Red Skull. A sense of enlightenment gradually passed into Red Skull's mind. As long as his name is recorded in the book of life and death, he is the prisoner of this prison. Can continue to guard the soul gem. He knew one thing more clearly. From now on, more souls will be welcomed here. Red Skull, who spent decades alone here. Both look forward to and worry about the excitement that may come. In the end, the Red Skull did not sign his name on the book of life and death. This is already his home. Leave here. What is he going to do again? The moment his name appeared on the Ministry of Life and Death, his soul power suddenly increased a lot. Originally he was on par with Captain Rogers. Now, his soul power far exceeds Rogers. Hela looked at everything in front of her, her eyes shining brightly. This is the legendary god of the East. Today, the Red Skull also has a priesthood. Red Skull's strength is not very strong. Not as powerful as when Loth became the pinnacle of level God Father directly when he was made a god. But what Hela cares about is not the opponent's strength. What she cares about is that once a god is conferred, the god conferred can instantly break through the original realm's strength. Once her strength is improved, she will embark on the path of a god. At that time, you will be able to live with Chin Hao for millions of years. She felt that Chin Hao's aura became even more terrifying. She has to keep up with the opponent's footsteps. At the moment's Chin Hao, the sound from the system in his ears continued. Ding, the third layer of hell, the pillar death hell has been established. The prisoner of the deathless hell has been determined. Reward 1. The host has the authority to establish the fourth layer of hell. Reward 2. The physical strength of the host is improved. Reward 3. The strength of the host's soul is improved. Reward 4. There will be an additional post of jailer in hell of death in vain. Flesh, at the moment also set foot on the road beyond level God Father. In his soul, the immortal aura increased again. It is meaningless to compare the strength of level God Father peak. Although there is a big difference between 1,010 and 1,020. But as long as they are willing to fight, they can all belong to the peak strength of countless level God Fathers. A hard resistance. A slight detour. At the moment, only 2 people who have already set foot on the half-step God can compare. Shouyuan is a good object of comparison. When Chin Hao built the second layer of hell, his lifespan had already exceeded 100,000 years. Now, his lifespan has doubled again. 200,000 years is enough for him to do too many things. The third hell has been completed. Where should the fourth hell be? The third level of hell is complete. Where should the fourth level of hell be? Chin Hao at the moment began to think about this matter. Jotunheim became the ice hell, so Concerta's Muspelheim become the volcanic hell. He suddenly discovered a new goal. There is a natural fireplace. Originally, countless flame creatures lived in it. And the mighty creature Surtur. That is a monster capable of destroying Asgard. Hela becomes the god king of Asgard, then Ragnar. Paragraph mark K cannot happen. Once Asgard is destroyed, Hela will also be affected. Sure enough, Muspelheim is the fourth hell. Surtur, you will become another general under my command. Quote. Chin Hao had a goal in the blink of an eye. But there is no rush on this matter. The first thing to do is to resolve Hela's matter. The third layer of hell has been established. Hela, your strength has reached the peak of level God Father. Then it's time for you to go to Asgard to claim your God King throne. Quote. After hearing what Chin Hao said, Hela also nodded. This time the delay outside was a bit longer than expected. Originally, she and Chin Hao had a purpose in killing Asgard. Get back Hela's physical body. Take the throne of God King of Asgard. It's just that because Soul Castle was transferred, they returned to Hades. Then there were all sorts of other things that happened. Human souls go to the underworld, but none of the Chitauri souls. In order to confirm this, and to expand the race on the Book of Life and Death, the two went to an alien planet again. There, I met two unexpected people. Two generals of Thanos, Ebony Maw and Black Dwarf. Incidentally, Thanos replaced Gamora by threatening their lives. Gamora was also used to find Vormir Star, and directly changed Vormir Star into the third layer of Hell here. Also turned the Red Skull into the Lord of the Third Hell. The wasted time between the two of them was subconsciously ignored. This time has passed many days. The two of them suddenly remembered that Ice Titan Loth was still in Asgard. Hela's undead army and the giant wolf Fenrir were there too. None of them are there to bind. I don't know if these will conflict with Asgard's army. Thinking of this, a ghost gate quickly connected Asgard. With the blessing of the space gem, it is much easier for Chin Hao to open this kind of passage. Chin Hao, Hela, Gamora, and Red Skull crossed the gate of hell. When they came to Asgard, everyone found that it was calm on the surface, but there was a hidden crisis. The Ice Titan and Asgard's fighters are in a stealthy confrontation. This is an opponent who fought 1,000 years ago. The Ice Titan lost the casket of ancient winters. Odin lost his right eye. Now, they continue to fight. Hela's undead army is a bit special. Countless Asgard ordinary people shuttle inside. Maybe they knew the origin of these undead. Many people in Asgard regard them as their ancestors. Many people are looking for their elders inside. It really allowed them to find some undead belonging to their ancestors. This led more Asgardians to seek out the ancestors. So when a few people came over, the undead army became a sightseeing spot. Especially those little kids. If there is an ancestor undead, they will show off in front of everyone. If it happens that this undead is very powerful, they will feel more face. Unexpectedly, your undead army is quite popular. Chin Hao never expected that this place would become like this. The confrontation between the Ice Titan and the Asgard army is normal. This happy look, no matter how it feels wrong. Go to Asgard and see if Odin has decided to abdicate. Hela directly chooses to go to Asgard. Her face was a little hot at the moment. His own undead army was treated like this. So shameful. The people came to Asgard. Odin's one eye turned to Hela. You have also reached the peak of level Godfather, although I know you will reach this step sooner or later. But I didn't expect you to arrive so quickly. I thought it was still a few months away. Quote. Hela's expression was inexplicable upon hearing this. Odin, do you think there are still a few months left? Are you ready to step aside? Odin shook his head. No, I just think that becoming a god king would lack a bit of atmosphere without your two younger brothers participating. Hela gave Odin a deep look. He's changed. We'll actually compromise. Very well, Odin, you made another right choice. As for Thor and Loki, I'll bring them back. After Chin Hao finished speaking, he disappeared in the blink of an eye. After a while, he came back here again. This time, there were two figures beside him. Thor's body and Loki's soul. Thor's battle for New York this time is on the human side. So he is relatively free. Chin Hao easily brought him back. As for Loki, he's being imprisoned. Chin Mo simply didn't move his body and brought his soul back. Provincial Loki is at it again. Seeing Chin Hao's actions, Odin was also unambiguous. The God King ceremony is officially held. Countless Asgardians began to decorate Asgard and other places. In fact, Chinku and Hela are no longer there these days. Frigg was already preparing for this. Now, everything is proceeding in an orderly manner. Hela at the moment looked serious. She's here to take power. But here now seems to be doing a formal handover ceremony. This made her a little uncomfortable. This is very good, Odin's choice is right, and it will allow him to spend his old age in peace. Chin Hao said beside Hela. Hela knew that Chin Hao was endangering her own safety. The entire God King ceremony went very smoothly. Numerous creatures from the 9 realms were invited over. For example, the Warner Protoss in Vanaheim. Nidavel's dwarf. Ice Titan Loth has always been here. Hela originally is the person of Helm Hades. The Dark Elves were wiped out. Midgard was deemed unqualified by Odin. Even if this is the case, it is equivalent to at least 5 realms supporting Hela's supremacy. Hela thus officially became the God King of Asgard. After becoming the God King, Hela felt a little different. Her strength progressed more and more terrifying. It was originally thought that it would take a few years to reach the limit. But after becoming the God King, she reached the peak limit of level God Father in a short time. Hela, after becoming the God King, your connection with Asgard will be deeper. The more people in Asgard acknowledge your existence, the power you can gain here will also be stronger. Evidently, the people of Asgard are very pleased with you now. Quote. Odin explained Hela's doubts. Hela sitting on the throne can hear the voices of the clansmen outside. For Hela to become the king of gods, the tribe did not have much resistance. It can even be said that the people of Asgard still hope that she will become the king of gods. Those undead warriors played too important a role. The people of Asgard think so. Since the ancestors are fighting for Hela, then Hela is definitely worth following. These younger generations follow in the footsteps of their ancestors. Can't go wrong. I don't know who started to spread this kind of thinking. Odin would not do such a thing. Then Frigg's idea was indispensable. Hela, before your lifespan expires, you will not be extinguished unless Asgard is fired. And, maybe you will surpass me to become the most powerful God King. Quote. Odin glanced at Chin Hao's side. Beside you is an existence beyond the peak of level God Father. You may also be able to surpass the peak of level God Father and enter the God level. Once that happens, Asgard will be even more prosperous. Hela will definitely become the most powerful God King. Chin Hao gave an affirmative answer. At the moment a token appeared in Hela's hand. Order of Impermanence. Whether it's Asgard or Olympus, the upper limit of strength that has been able to be reached is the peak of level God Father. Now, maybe I'm going to break the spell. Quote. Hela seemed to be talking to herself. Seeing this token, Odin frowned tightly. There are some mystical powers on this token. Energy is not very strong, but there is a power of rule. Hela looked at Chin Hao at the moment. Whether it is possible to break through, at the moment. Become by Wuchang. As soon as the words fell, Wuchang Ling instantly merged into her body. Boom. In her body, a huge power gradually awakening. Function. Hela's aura directly broke through the peak of level God Father. There was a gleam in her eyes. At the moment of the breakthrough, Asgard's power seemed to find an outlet. Endless energy constantly vented towards her body. Hela's momentum rose crazily. It didn't stop until her strength was extremely close to that of Chin Hao. At the moment, she is completely different from her original self. Only she who is at the moment can realize how powerful Chin Hao is. Everyone in Asgard looked at Hela in shock. What a powerful momentum. This is a level they have been unable to achieve. Hela's unleashed coercion directly pressed the entire Asgard, and everyone's faces changed wildly. Even this coercion leaked out of Asgard and spread throughout Asgard. There is a strange realization in everyone's heart. The God King has broken through. Asgard will grow stronger. Thor's whole Erha watched his sister break through. Apart from sighing, sister is so strong, he really couldn't find any words to describe it. But Loki's soul, at the moment, even had the urge to kneel under Hela's coercion. In his soul state, he was originally restrained by Death God. Am I competing with such a person for the position of God King? He suddenly felt that it was really not easy for him to be alive. Ice Titan Lof at the moment was filled with joy. If their race didn't become Chin Hao's Hell clan, relying on the strength of Hela's breakthrough, definitely capable of killing an entire Ice Titan by himself. Frigga at the moment's figure swayed slightly. Immediately afterwards, Hela seemed to hold back part of her coercion. The smile on Frigga's face never stopped. As for Odin, shocking eyes swept over Hela and Chin Hao constantly. The people of Asgard have really broken through this barrier of strength. All this, is this Eastern Death God. It's not that he hasn't investigated the Eastern gods during this period of time. But Chin Hao's identity was never found from the beginning to the end. But, it's this god that now lets Hela break through. Chin Hao looked at Hela inexplicably. In his mind, the system sounded again. Ding, the underworld has been bound to the soul of a key person, and the underworld has the priority to collect the soul. The soul breaks through the barrier, and the power is fed back. This soul has a special identity, and the system rewards have been adjusted. Reward 1. The soul is the goddess of death in Heim Hades, and the first level of Helheim Hades is expanded. Reward 2. The soul has the status of Asgard God King, and Asgard expands. Reward 3. Su Qian Li's Lord's physical strength is improved. Reward 4. The strength of the host soul is improved. Reward 5. Increase the number of Yin soldiers and generals in each hell. Reward 6. Increase the number of ecstasy envoys. Reward 7. The scope of radiation in the underworld is expanded, and the scope of attracting souls is expanded. Reward 8. The first level God Father Peak God King is converted to the Eastern God system, the strength of the staff of the underworld is improved, and the upper limit is raised to the half-step God level. Qin Hao was relieved to see a series of rewards. Qin Hao's physical body, at the moment, has taken another step forward on the path of being a half-step God. However, this kind of progress still cannot keep up with his soul. The moment he got the reward, Qin Hao's soul was instantly upgraded. A huge momentum surpassing Hela emanated from his body. If it is said that Hela's strength after the breakthrough is basically the same as that of Qin Hao. Now, Qin Hao's strength is at least twice that of Hela. This strength is doubled, and if you really want to fight, you will not only be able to fight two people. The power of immortality continued to be generated in his body. Today, it can live for at least 400,000 years. Hela's longevity is even more terrifying than Qin Hao. Their original longevity is astonishing. This breakthrough, her lifespan even started in the millions. The strength may not be as good as Qin Hao, but it is better than survival. Hela wins now. However, Hela's breakthrough got feedback from Asgard this time. After that, it will take longer for her strength to improve again. Because she only has the authority of the two realms. As for Qin Hao, his strength can continue to improve rapidly. The potential for lifespan far exceeds that of Hela. The breath of the two alternately rose and fell in Asgard. Everyone in the hall became more and more horrified. A question kept flashing through Odin's mind. Is this Oriental god really a believer in God? Is this Oriental god really a believer in God? Odin constantly ponders this question. Because the other party's performance is too similar. However, Zeus also believed in God. Why is he always stuck at the peak of level Godfather? Moreover, strictly speaking, Zeus is not as powerful as himself. Zeus' strength is always fluctuating. That is the change that comes from those who believe in him. The more believers, the stronger Zeus. 2,000 years ago Zeus was able to fight himself. Now fewer and fewer people believe in Zeus. His strength is even about to drop to the late stage of level Godfather. But this Oriental god is completely different. The opponent's strength has improved too rapidly. Too featureless. If it is belief, it is impossible to change such a huge change in belief all of a sudden. The opponent's strength has been nearly doubled. The number of his believers cannot be doubled out of thin air. The only thing that has changed just now is that Hela has become the god of the East. After that, Hela obtained the rule of the Eastern gods and broke through the peak of level Godfather. Achieved today's half-step god level. Can a Hela make the opponent so powerful? Impossible. So, how did this Oriental god do it? Odin couldn't figure it out. Others don't think about it at all. They were still in shock. As it turns out, their shock has only just begun. Something even more shocking is happening. Everyone in Asgard suddenly felt their feet trembling constantly. Everyone subconsciously looked outside, under their somewhat frightened eyes. In the endless void, countless meteorites were attracted by Asgard. Boom! Terrible meteorites hit the edge of Asgard one after another. Every meteor made Asgard tremble. However, such a violent impact did not damage the territory of Asgard at all. There is a force that protects Asgard. That is the power of Asgard. Even, there seems to be a mysterious power emperor on those meteorites. Two forces are constantly entangled. They made the meteorite tightly bonded to the territory of Asgard. The entire Asgard is expanding outward at a speed visible to their naked eyes. This is exactly a reward given by the system. Hela became the God King. Hela becomes Baiwu. She has a special status. System rewards Asgard expansion. Even Chin Hao is the first time to see this kind of expansion method given by the system. Although Hades has experienced many expansions, but Chin Hao saw that the mountains and rivers of Hades trembled and the earth cracked. Not sure exactly how the expansion was done. Asgard is different. It's just a small piece of territory. Still a plain. In Asgard, it is possible to see far into the distance. So this caused them to clearly see the process of endless meteorite expansion of Asgard. The spear of eternity trembled slightly in Odin's hand. Because his at the moment's hands are constantly shaking. Breakthrough. It's a breakout for Asgard. Odin's voice was hoarse. He is so excited. For Asgard, it's like breaking new ground right now. Throughout the universe, there are indeed rumors of some powerful beings capable of fabricating a planet out of thin air. There are also rumors of some powerful people who graze planets. One after another planets are gradually formed or destroyed in their hands. But usually it takes a long time, measured in millions of years. Such a sudden expansion of such a large area like now. Even Odin is unimaginable. Hela broke through the peak of level Godfather and entered the realm of demigods, and there was such a terrifying change. If I also become a half-step god, will it make Asgard even bigger? He believes that this is a vision caused by Hela's breakthrough. Hela is the most powerful god king there is in Asgard. Her contributions to Asgard, that alone puts Odin far ahead. Any local territory is always the most precious resource. They are the reason why Asgard is sparsely populated now. Just because Asgard is so small, Odin is unwilling to continue waging war. A large part of the reason is that Asgard's population is too small. Originally, the population is small, and there are fewer combat personnel that can be mobilized. Once the loss is too large, it will be a catastrophe for Asgard. This time Asgard's expansion obviously solved the problems that even Odin couldn't solve. Just this moment, Asgard has at least doubled in diameter. What shocked him even more was that those flying meteorites contained rich minerals. These minerals allow them to exchange for countless resources in the universe. This also solves the problem of needing resources after Asgard's population explodes. Odin was shocked, and everyone here was more shocked than him. Thor and the others have never experienced such a thing. He doesn't even understand what's happening now. How much that would change for Asgard. Ice Titan Loth, Asgard's opponent, once again rejoiced. Fortunately, I have become a subordinate of Death God. Otherwise, wait for the day when Asgard is free. The Frost Titan will definitely kill them eventually. Peace agreement. That's the ass paper. Can be torn up and discarded at any time. Loth didn't return to Ice Hell for days. Otherwise, he would know that Chin Hao actually did it. Because, in the current Ice Hell, there are countless branch halls of rewarding divisions. Those Ice Titans even chose to live in the Ascension division. The others were shocked, and Hela at the moment was just like them. Everyone thought she did it. It is because she has broken through to the half-step god level, so she has created the current change. But only Hela knows it. She has nothing to do with all this. Chin Hao did all of this. She has seen similar things many times. However, it was never so clear. Especially in Hades, it has been expanded many times. Hades Hall, Wonkwon Road, these are sudden changes. The most recent one was that Seoul Castle was transformed into Ascension Division. After that, the Ascension Division built branch halls everywhere. Hela whispered in Chin Hao's ear. You did this again. Every time you improve your strength, it will cause turmoil. Don't be nervous, this time the situation is related to you. You have converted to the Eastern God system at the peak of level Godfather. Let the Eastern divine power officially enter this world. Therefore, the change in Asgard is actually the combination of Eastern divine power and Asgard originally divine power. Strictly speaking, you did this. Quote, Chin Hao whispered in her ear. The two of them talked softly, as if they were kissing me. This made Odin feel panicked for a moment. Homemade cabbage. Gone. All they see is here. In Hades, at the moment, bigger changes are taking place. This is already an unknown number of expansions of Hades. There was no second layer of Hell. Most of the power of the system is used to expand Hades. The vast Hades is now boundless. Almost no one knows how big it is. More importantly, there are countless Yin soldiers and Yin generals here. This is also a system reward. These yin soldiers and yin generals guard the safety of this layer of hell. The same goes for ice hell and death hell. Countless yin soldiers and yin generals will appear there. Both hell, now soul no more, DBCJ, less. There are more clerks than souls. Especially hell of death in vain. It is full of yin soldiers and yin generals. They don't have a soul guard, all they do is rest in the rewarding department. Mind gem gives them mind. This makes them live like real ghosts. Chin Hao's reward this time is more than that. Countless soul ecstasy messengers shuttle in the universe. The gate of hell has opened to more and more places. The scope of radiation from the underworld has become even more terrifying. The locations of Helm, Hades and Jotunheim radiate are only the 9 realms. But the hell of Vormir star ball transformation is completely outside the 9 realms. This time the radiation range is expanded. Let Vormir star here can receive the souls in a wide range around it. The system has many ecstasy messengers across the universe. This makes the area of the underworld that gets souls all the more terrifying. The souls in the underworld are also becoming more and more complicated. All races are present. In addition to these, there is a more special reward. Reward 8. The first level God Father Peak God King is converted to the Eastern God system, the strength of the staff of the underworld is improved, and the upper limit is raised to the half-step God level. This reward is obviously to develop the power of the underworld. Originally, the personnel of the underworld were also restricted. Now, the members of the underworld can also break through to the half-step God level. Like Ice Titan Loth, he is the lord of the underworld Ice Hell. His strength can only reach the peak of level God Father. Now, if necessary, Loth can break through to the peak of level God Father. Achieving a half-step God. Chin Hao thought for a while. More and more manpower will be needed under his command. Weak soldiers and generals will be rewarded constantly by the system. The powerful ones have too little in their hands. I haven't become a God level yet. Even if it is time to achieve the God level. What to do if you encounter a God group? That's a lot of members. It's like they're trolling Odin. Odin is wearing the destroyer armor. It can also be just a few seconds with the other party at most. After that, he was directly beaten to the ground. The opponent is not only powerful, but also has many members. What should I do if I am really annotated by them because of seduction? It is imperative to develop your own power. And, the system seems to mean that too. His current strength has been improved several times. Li Tian's God level is getting closer and closer. Chin Hao has guessed that when his lifespan reaches 1,000,000 years, he can achieve the God level. Because like Yi Zhe can rely on time to be superior. If the power of the gods is sufficient, it can destroy thousands of planets at once. This, Asgard's Bifrost cannot do. Surtur, who is weaker than Odin, can only destroy little Asgard. Germany. From the looks of it, it can only be destroyed one by one. It can be seen that the gap between Igo and Surtur is still a bit big. But, because it's just a brain. Egg's weakness is also obvious. Defense is too weak. Surtur was stabbed with countless swords by Hela. But he still played very excitedly. As for Egg, one bomb destroyed it. Definitely, that bomb is indeed a bit powerful. Destroy the star bomb. The more you understand the gap between the God level and the level God Father, the more Chin Hao needed a powerful force. Hela is one. But she shouldn't be the only one. Chin Hao looked at Odin. This guy, do you want to fool him into being your subordinate? As for how to fool, give him a little kick. Today is Hela's breakthrough news, we will talk about it later. Asgard expands constantly, eventually expanding to at least twice its original diameter before stopping. This made the area of Asgard instantly increase several times. Countless people from Asgard later explored those newly added lands. Because of Hela's breakthrough, because of the expansion of Asgard, God's domain held a grand banquet, even grander than Hela's achievement of God King. This feast went on for many days. On the first day after the banquet, Chin Hao finally decided to make trouble. He sent part of his divine power directly into the body of Ice Titan Loth. Loth is the pinnacle of level God Father. Gaining this divine power, his aura suddenly rose. Boom, a huge coercion descended instantly. Loth himself wasn't prepared for anything. The other members around him were even less prepared. This powerful coercion spread out, directly causing many people to sit down on the ground. King Lof Titan is above level Godfather. An ice titan is closest to Lof. He clearly felt this change. Excited, he passed the news to all the ice titans. King Lof Titan is above level Godfather. King Lof Titan is above level Godfather. One cry after another resounds through Asgard. Ice titans. There are also masters above the level Godfather. Half-step god level. Hela's celebratory banquet has just ended. Another half-step god appeared. Everyone is crazy again. This man is still the king of the Frost Titan. Hela came to Chin Hao's side. Is this what you did too? Is this what you did too? Hela knew it well. This matter can only be done by Chin Hao. That's right, Hell needs more powerful powers. The more the underworld expands, the greater the danger will be. Quote. Chin Hao briefly explained a few words. I know, but Lof can also break through to the half-step god level. I'm a little surprised. If he can break through, does it mean that other people in the underworld can also break through? That's what surprised Hela. I was able to break through because I became a member of the Eastern Gods. This transition is not very common. And other people in the underworld can break through. It means that the overall strength of the underworld will be greatly strengthened. That's right, now it means that a half-step god-level powerhouse can be born inside the underworld. Now in the underworld, only Lof is strong enough to break through, and the others are still far behind. And even if he breaks through, his strength is far worse than yours. He is only attached to Ice Hell, and you are attached to Asgard and Helm Hades. Quote. Even if Lof breaks through, his strength doesn't increase much. Hitting Odin is enough. It's far from Hela. Lof at the moment, who had just broken through, excitedly rushed in front of Chin Hao. Thank you, my lord, for helping me break through the peak of level Godfather and achieve the half-step position of God. Lof at the moment knelt heavily in front of Chin Hao. It's okay, get up, you are the master of Ice Hell, your strength must be very strong. We will encounter more powerful opponents in the future. If your strength is too weak, maybe you will be made a fuss by the opponent. Quote. In the future, I will explain a few sentences at will. See Lof kneeling in front of Chin Hao. The feeling of everyone in Asgard God's domain is unbelievable. The Helm Protoss and Dwarf clan who came to the banquet here were also full of horror. Fake, right, the King of Ice Titan actually knelt in front of that death god. King Ice Titan is a powerful lord who broke through the peak of level Godfather. Why does he still kneel in front of others? Although we also know that the death god is very powerful, and may have traveled a long distance on the road of half-step god, but Lof has also embarked on that road. Yeah, they're all half-step god level, why is Lof still kneeling? They can't figure it out. Although they already knew that Chin Hao's strength was astonishing. When Hela broke through that day, the opponent showed a stronger momentum than Hela. But the shock back then was not as strong as it is now. A person who broke through the half-step god kneel down before him. Everyone finds it unbelievable. Lof was not at all uncomfortable with this. Others don't know it, but he himself knows it clearly. His own breakthrough was entirely dependent on Chin Hao. That huge divine power was definitely provided by Chin Hao. He accepted Chin Hao's reward and became the king of Ice Hell. Their Ice Titan family has become a race of hell. At first I felt a little unconvinced. But after being stimulated a few times, he has long since lost his rebellious heart. Now, he surrendered completely. Above the father. Half god, he clearly knew that this was Chin Hao's attempt to improve the strength of the underworld. Lof originally thought that almost no one in the 9 realms is a match for Chin Hao. Chin Hao now occupies the 2 realms of Helm Hades and Helm. Hela also occupies Asgard. The Sorcerer Supreme lineage encountered represents Midgard. In fact, Chin Hao can almost be said to be rampant in the entire 9 realms. The strength is stronger than everyone, and there is a large network of relationships. But Chin Hao is still constantly improving his strength and influence. It was as if he had been dreading a crisis. Lof, don't know what kind of crisis it is. But Lao Fei knew that the peak strength of level Godfather was not enough. The strength of half-step gods is not enough. Yes, my lord, I will continue to improve my strength to ensure that I can guard the Ice Hell for my lord. Lof knew what he was going to do. Guard the Ice Hell. As for other matters, just leave them to Chin Hao. He wants to do more things and needs more strength. As for strength, it is obvious that it needs to be bestowed by the other party. Just like today, after the breakthrough, Loki let loose in Asgard. In the distance, Odin opened his mouth wide. He never imagined that Loki would break through. Hela breakouts are a normal thing, because she has been following Chin Hao. Even when she was still sealed, she was taken away by the other party. But Loki, that was the person who once attacked the Earth and almost caused the destruction of the Earth, but was stopped by the joint efforts of Death God and the people on Earth. Why did he break through? Just because Loki surrendered? This is simply too sloppy. However, when he recalled Hela's breakthrough, he seemed to have thought about such a thing. Transfer to the Eastern God department and become a half-step god. Really, I really can't say anything about Loki. At this moment, Chin Hao spoke again. Hela, Loki, just the two of you broke through, and next, I have a goal in the fourth layer of hell, you all come with me to defeat it. Which world do you want to fight? Land of the fiery titans. Muspelheim, I will turn it into a volcanic hell. Chin Hao finally started to implement his plan. The target of the plan is the territory of the flame titan Surtur, Muspelheim. Yes, my lord, I will order troops and set off immediately. Without further ado, Loki took the ice titan back to ice hell. The strength of Asgard is still not much, because the land here is relatively small. There are too many soldiers to expand. To attack the flame titan's territory, he needs to call out more manpower. Back in ice hell, Loki opened his mouth wide. The blue ice hell now has a golden glow inside it. Those are the palaces of Shangshanxi. Although he had heard that ice hell had changed, he did not expect ice hell to become like this. Numerous frost titans lived in Shangshan division. Inside, the strength of his ability is constantly growing. There was a guess in Loki's mind. If it grows like this, the ordinary soldiers of Ice Titan may become the strongest in the 9 realms. Stronger than the Asgardians ever were. The gap between the Ice Titan family originally and Asgard is not that big. The only thing weaker than Asgard is their bodies. Ice Titan, too crumbly. Loki was smashed into ice lumps by the gun of eternity. Neither Hela nor Thor will have such a situation. Ice Titan is more like a magician and assassin with high attack and low defense. Even a fighter is not a defense king. However, if the Ice Titans continue to strengthen, their strength will become more and more terrifying. Anti-low, attack instead of defense. This is the scariest thing. Thinking of this, Lao became more and more excited. Sure enough, it was right to choose to be a man of hell. Assemble the warriors and follow Lord Death God to attack Muspelheim, the territory of the Flame Titan. Hearing this, there was a slight confusion at the scene. This is another new realm to attack. Yes, together. Boom, boom, horrible footsteps sounded continuously, and a terrifying army had assembled. Depart from Asgard, descend to the fiery titan territory by Bifrost. Loki set off directly with the troops. The neat team made the people of Asgard feel strong pressure. Especially Odin and those warriors who fought the Ice Titans thousands of years ago. They were even more surprised. Ice Titan, stronger. When the Ice Titan came to Asgard, it was already assembled here. Hela's undead army lined up neatly. In front of them is the giant wolf Fenrir. Behind the legions of the undead stood the legions of Asgard. Those soldiers in the legion, at the moment, are a little excited. This is an opportunity to fight with the ancestors. No one else has such an opportunity. Looking at this huge army, Chin Hao also had a smile in his eyes. In a short period of time, he already has such a strong team. Set off. Everyone walked towards the end of Bifrost. Heimdall, guarding Bifrost, looked surprised. He couldn't see the 2 worlds that disappeared. He has been guessing what happened in the 2 worlds that have disappeared. But it doesn't matter now. At least those 2 worlds don't have much conflict with the current Asgard. The terrifying sound of energy activation came out instantly. The passage of Bifrost is directly connected to the territory of the Flame Titan. The team is constantly walking towards Muspelheim, the territory of the Flame Titan. Their figures disappeared on Bifrost. Heimdall stood quietly on the Bifrost, watching everything on the other side. Such a war sweeping across a world is really spectacular. Heimdall's mouth murmured. The 9 realms are now dead in name only. Jotunheim and Helheim are gone. Now it seems that the Flame Titan's territory will also disappear. The 9 realms became the 6 realms. Boom, The terrifying Bifrost energy fell on Muspelheim in an instant. All the creatures in this world looked at that beam of light. Surtur, who was in the palace, raised his sword and stood up. Someone is attacking. Attack! Countless flame monsters rushed towards the Bifrost landing point. Surtur followed closely behind. However, when he appeared beside Bifrost, I saw a scene of surprise. With Bifrost at the center, a vast expanse of terrifying ice is spreading. Even the heat of Muspelheim is frozen by that ice. You know, the magic of the current ice titan is in addition to the normal ice. There is also yin chi specifically aimed at the soul. This makes their ice magic even more terrifying. Loth, how dare you attack my territory, you are asking for death. Surtur didn't care about this little bit of frozen place. In his cognition, these ice will soon melt away. But then, his eyes suddenly changed. A vast army of the undead has appeared in Muspelheim. The battle suits on them are all Asgard styles. Seeing the other party, Surtur's heart gradually sank. This means that the group relationship is getting worse and worse. And then, everything went in the worst direction for him. The warriors of Asgard have officially arrived. Not undead army group, but true warriors of Asgard. Asgard also took part in the war against Muspelheim. What the hell are you going to do? He knew it was over. He is not afraid of fighting the Frost Titan alone. The Frost Titan lost the casket of ancient winters. Surtur lost the eternal fire. After all, they were all defeated by Asgard. Therefore, in terms of strength, there is not much difference between the two. But with Asgard involved, he will definitely not be an opponent. Surtur, today, Muspelheim will be turned into a hell. You'd better surrender yourself, lest your subjects die innocently. Quote. Loth is the vanguard of the call. Surrender. Loth, I didn't expect you to unite with Asgard. Asgard defeated you, and now you bow and kneel at their feet. As the king, I despise you. There was no way Surtur would surrender. His character is too irritable. Don't surrender, then beat you to surrender. Loth made a decisive move. Instantly killed Surtur. Half-step god-level strength. He hasn't fought anyone yet. Beat me to surrender. You think too much of yourself. This is the territory of flames. Surtur raised his sword and charged towards Loth. Click. The attacks of the two collided instantly. How so? Surtur's tone was horrified. He was blown away with one blow. Without the eternal fire, his strength could barely reach level Godfather. Even Thor can't beat him. Not to mention Loth, who is now a half-step god. Not only was he knocked out, the whole person began to be gradually covered by ice. How so? These were his last thoughts. Ice covered. Surtur disappeared immediately. At the scene, only one helmet was left. At this moment, the figures of Hao and Hela finally appeared from Bifrost. Ding! A special local environment has been detected, and this place can be transformed into a fourth layer of hell under the eternal fire. As soon as he stepped here, Hao heard the sound of the system. Very good, transform this world into the fourth layer of hell. After Hao finished speaking, a flash of fire appeared in his hand. The eternal fire, Surtur's source of energy. Ding! Order received. Muspelheim is being remodeled. The third layer of hell is being established. Build Wonquan Road. Gojian's Ghost Gate. Open up the Wangchuan River. Build the Bridge of Nehi. Build the Palace of Hades. Build a branch hall for rewarding good deeds. The whole Muspelheim vibrates wildly. Boom! A terrifying flame instantly ignited the entire Muspelheim. Everyone, get out of this world. Heimdall Bifrost continues to open. All warriors who entered Muspelheim withdrew. In fact, this offense doesn't need them at all. But Hao still let them participate. It's just a test. A test to let everyone know their strength and influence. A Muspelheim, the place where the majestic flame originated. Under their joint attack, it was captured in a blink of an eye. Even their king, Surtur, was frozen in an instant. The gap is too big. Their current combined army is too powerful. The half-step god-level power is too powerful. After that, the whole world turned into hell. Ice Titan is no surprise. The undead army doesn't know what is strange. Only real Asgard warriors have never seen such a horrible scene. Muspelheim was already the place of fire. Inside, it was full of fire and heat. Even the warriors of Asgard have some discomfort going in. However, compared with what happened afterwards. The original Muspelheim was just too tender. The eternal fire. Although few of them have actually seen the eternal fire. But when that fire burns, everyone has such an idea in their hearts. That is the eternal fire. The whole world is burning with the eternal fire. Immortality. They had to get out of that world. Everyone retreated, leaving only Chinku, Hela and Lao Zui in Muspelheim. Ding! Space Gem builds a tunnel to the underworld. The underworld is rearranged. The construction of the fourth layer of Hell is complete. 660. The fourth layer of Hell is named Volcanic Hell. The eternal fire's special source power has been detected. Analyze the power of the source. Unlock the power of the source. Extract the source, the power of eternity. The system acquires eternal power, replicates and cultivates. The system maintains the lowest operating energy, fully replicating the eternal 5. The fourth layer of Hell, the Volcanic Hell, has been established. Reward 1. The host has the authority to establish the fifth layer of Hell. Reward 2. The physical strength of the host is improved. Reward 3. The strength of the host's soul is improved. Reward 4. The Volcanic Hell has added a jailer position. The system continues to constantly prompt. The moment when the fourth layer of Hell was completely formed, Chin Hao's aura once again increased crazily. Originally, he had reached an astonishing lifespan of 400,000 years. This time, it reached at least 800,000 years. The strength is also doubled directly. Doubled on the basis of half-step gods. This kind of promotion is incomparably terrifying. Chin Hao felt that he was getting closer to Li Tian's god level. The immortal power within the body is constantly transforming the body. Body and soul are constantly being transformed. However, Chin Hao didn't care about all of this. Because this has come up too many times. Chin Hao at the moment is more concerned about the system's prompts. The power of eternity was extracted from the eternal fire. What surprised Chin Hao even more is that the system is now trying its best to replicate the power of eternity. He looked at the fourth layer of Volcanic Hell. This entire floor is burning with the eternal fire. Immortality. Inside, there is an eternal calendar. It's just that Surtur's limited strength cannot exert such power at all. Now, all this is parsed by the system. With the eternal fire, he could directly improve so much strength this time. Eternity and immortality. Eternity means never changing. It is a powerful force that perpetuates the status quo. Immortality is a state of permanence. Immortality lasts forever, but it is affected by time. Eternal and unchanged, even time cannot affect the other party. That's the difference. Receive the blessing of eternal power. Chin Hao's strength will directly become so powerful. More importantly, Chin Hao suspected that this trace of eternal power was related to a god. The eternity of the 5 creation gods. He represents time. Just a trace of eternal power. Chin Hao's lifespan doubled directly. According to the original calculation of Chin Hao. With one more layer of Hell, his lifespan should be increased by about 100,000 years. But this time, it directly increased by 400,000 years. This is the powerful influence brought by that trace of eternal power. Time. Shouyuan is just time. For eternity, time is the most commonplace thing. Hela and Lof stood beside Chin Hao. The eyes of the two at the moment were full of shock. Although I know that changing the world is hell, Chin Hao's strength will increase crazily. However, this time the improvement far exceeded the expectations of the two. With that terrifying aura, Hela, who could even be suppressed, felt as if he was about to suffocate. As for the weaker Lof, he almost fell to his knees again. Chin Hao restrained his breath, and the two of them felt better. Chin, is this level of hell improved so much? Asked Hela. Chin Hao looked at his hands. Immediately afterwards, a flame burned in his hand. Not the same as the eternal fire. This flame is blue. This is the combination of the eternal fire and the yin-chi of the underworld. A new flame is produced. Eternal fire, soul-burning hellfire. Seeing this flame, Chin Hao subconsciously thought of someone. Ghost Rider. The flame after his evolution is blue. That kind of flame, isn't it the same? Maybe, try Ghost Rider. Seeing the blue flame, Hela and Lof took a step back subconsciously. Their souls seem to be being scorched by this flame. Even they feel that they are covered by this flame. They're screwed. You know, their strength can withstand the eternal fire. After all, the eternal fire is just the Surtur's energy source. Surtur can take it all. Naturally, they can also bear it. However, the blue flame in Chin-Luzi. What burns is the soul. They can't bear it. This time, the construction of hell has had unexpected joy, so it has been able to improve so much strength. Moreover, I am now getting closer to the Litian god level. I feel that if there is another layer of hell, I will be able to achieve the god level. The volcanic hell cannot only target weak souls. Here, it will become the most terrifying layer of hell. Any soul who comes here will suffer eternal torment. Quote. After Chin Hao finished speaking, he threw the blue flame in his hand into the distance. Boom! The yellow eternal fire was instantly ignited again. The terrifying blue flames spread in this world like a plague. In the volcanic hell, half of the range directly turned into this terrifying blue flame. In the future, the souls who come here will be tortured twice. Roasted by the eternal fire. Roasted by the blue soul flame. And at the moment, all the flame creatures inside were roasted by the eternal fire. If it weren't for the power of Chin Hao's controller, all the flame creatures in it might have died. Chin Hao at the moment suddenly transformed into a giant shadow. Blot out the sun. Upright, even bigger than the figure transformed in Jotunheim. He holds a scroll in his hand. Book of Life and Death. Today, the kingdom proclaims all living beings of Muspelheim as volcanic hells. Keep his name in the Book of Life and Death, and he will not be attacked by this prison from then on. Get the right to live in volcanic hell. Obtain the right to practice in volcanic hell. If there is no fire in the underworld, the volcanic hell will never be destroyed. Huge amounts of what the Phantom said, every creature in the entire Muspelheim could hear clearly. A scroll appeared in front of all the creatures. Book of Life and Death. Leave his name in the Book of Life and Death. After that, the soul will return to the underworld forever. Any other hell will not be able to obtain the souls of these people. Now if they want to survive, all they need is to leave their names in the Life and Death book. Moreover, because this creature seems to be even less intelligent. So Chin Hao directly left a mark on the transfigured Book of Life and Death. When the creatures see the Book of Life and Death, they know what they are going to do. They left their names in the Book of Life and Death one after another. Ding! The creatures of Muspelheim have completely become jailers of the underworld. Please confirm the warden of the volcano hell. The sound of the system sounded again. The world of living beings is transformed into hell again. Like ice hell, it needs a warden now. Chin Hao took a look around. Then waved. Surtur's crown floated into his hand in an instant. Throw the crown directly into the eternal fire. Boom! A terrifying figure instantly appeared in Muspelheim. He was originally only 3 or 4 meters tall. At the moment get the infusion of the eternal fire. A terrifying titan with a height of hundreds of meters was burning wantonly. In his hand, he also carried a terrifying big sword. Twilight sword. The terrifying aura spread wantonly in all directions. Level God Father Peak. Same power as Odin. Ha ha ha, you dare to let me combine with the eternal fire, you are dead. Loth, I'm going to kill you first, how dare you hit me? Hey, why is it so dark? Surtur was about to start, to find that the whole sky was so dark. He looked up at the sky, and immediately froze in place. His figure of hundreds of meters is already extremely huge. Higher than the highest mountains and palaces in Asgard. However, at the moment, there was a shadowy figure standing in Muspelheim. The figure held a scroll in his hand, and looked down at everything below. Surtur is just a baby in front of the other party. Who are you going to kill? The giant shadow pressed a finger towards Surtur. The rampant Surtur just fell to the ground directly by a finger. Who are you? I am the death god, and I will appoint Surtur as the warden of the volcanic hell from today. Do you accept the order? As soon as the giant shadow finished speaking, a huge amount of Book of Life and Death lay directly in front of Surtur. The messages emanating from it let Surtur know what just happened. All my people have become jailers of the underworld. He was full of disbelief at the moment. That's right, do you accept the position of the Lord of Volcanic Hell? The giant shadow urged again. Not only that, the giant shadow also led a blue flame to land on Surtur. Ah, it hurts. Flame Titan Surtur's frantic howl of being directly burned by blue flames. I sign, I sign. He decisively left his name in the book of life and death. When the name fell, the blue flame that originally burned his soul directly merged into his body. Boom! Horrible flames boiled over him. On his body, the original red flame at the moment has a little bit of blue. And his momentum, at the moment, directly surpassed the peak of level God-Father. Half God, another half-step God. Even, he is stronger than Ice Titan Lof. Already extremely close to the extent of Hela. Lof blinded Odin's eyes. But Surtur directly caused Ragnar a paragraph mark K. In a sense, it is indeed stronger than Lof. Chin Hao nodded in satisfaction. Today, among the 4 levels of Hell, 3 levels of prison masters are half-step gods. Hela of Helm Hades, Lof of Ice Hell Jotunheim, Surtur of Volcanic Hell Muse Belheim. Only the Red Skull in Hell of Undeserved Death is the weakest. Chin Hao himself is extremely close to the god level. The strength of the underworld instantly became extremely powerful. The number 1 force in the 9 realms deserves its name. Compared with Asgard, who was once known as the Lord of the 9 worlds, it is more worthy of. Lof, you just hit me, didn't you? Now that I'm one of your lord's subordinates, I'm going to beat you back. Surtur at the moment suddenly got mad at Lof. He was not one to fight back when he was beaten. Say it and do it. Surtur's huge figure of hundreds of meters rushed directly towards Lof. He slapped Lof hard. Take me back to Asgard. Lof at the moment spoke directly. Can't fight, don't you know how to run? Boom. Bifrost's berserk energy directly took Lof away. Surtur took a blank shot. Immediately afterwards, his eyes turned to another person. Exclamation mark. God King of Asgard. God King of Asgard, I am your nightmare. Ragnar paragraph mark K will come in my hand. He was thinking about Ragnar paragraph mark K all the time. Just like in the movie, when he enters Asgard, he is like a fun-loving Erha. Directly dismantle Asgard. It seems that if you don't beat you up, you don't know the rules. After Hela finished speaking, the gigantic night sky sword pierced Surtur. A dreadful sword pierced Surtur's body. Even Surtur is a little shaken. But this is Moose Belheim. Here lies the endless eternal fire. How could he feel that he would lose? The two directly started a big battle here. Chin Hao did not intervene. They are going to fight after all. Fighting now is better than fighting later. And, Ragnar, Chin Hao won't let him happen. He at the moment is more about thinking about the next question. The 5th level of Hell, it seems that there is no goal. The 5th level of Hell, it seems that there is no target. This is what Chin Hao is thinking now. Among the 9 realms, there is no place suitable for transformation into Hell. Vanaheim has the Vana Protoss. Nidavel's dwarf world is too small. The kingdom of the elves of light in Alfheim is not suitable as a Hell. Is it possible to enjoy after going to Hell? However, it seems that the Dark Elves can consider it. Chin Hao suddenly thought of a realm. Dark Elf, Svartalfheim. A place of almost eternal darkness. I just don't know what kind of Hell is suitable for transformation. Moreover, it is hard to say whether there is a suitable synthesis for Hell. Boom. At this moment, Thor's huge body fell directly to the ground. Hela's strength is stronger than the opponent after all. After a quick operation, Surtur was directly beaten to the ground. Surtur, who had just gained strength and was overly excited, finally calmed down. Just because you want to trigger Ragnar paragraph mark K2. Hela smiled contemptuously, but her heart is not at peace. Surtur is powerful and abnormal. When Lof broke through, he only took a few steps on the path of the half-step god. Also hit Odin like that. But Surtur is about to catch up with her. Who is she? She has obtained the Order of Chinmo's impermanence, and she also sits on the God King of Asgard and Helm Hades. According to her thinking, she is at least twice as powerful as Surtur. Playing Surtur with twice the strength should be very easy. However, she is not easy at all. Chin Hao saw the battle between the two. He had guesses in his mind, such as the power of the eternal fire. Eternal power. Moreover, it seems that the greater the strength of Surtur, the more capable he will be of the eternal calendar. Could it be that behind this is really the eternal power of the creation god? The more he thought about it, the more Chin Hao felt it was possible. Surtur knows none of this. All he knew was that he was defeated. HMPH, I didn't expect to beat you. He reluctantly admitted that he was not as good as the other party. Surtur, get smaller and come with me to meet the Lord of the Third Hell that I haven't seen yet. Chin Hao made the request directly at the moment. Helpless, Surtur's body shrinks directly. A body of hundreds of meters became only 5 or 6 meters high after being extremely condensed. However, this height is still much larger than ordinary creatures. Heimdall, take us back. Hela spoke directly. Now it is Hela who has let go of the authority. She is the god king of Asgard. It is the impermanence of the underworld again. She had to let go before Heimdall could see it. Otherwise, Heimdall still can't see the existence of hell. The light of Bifrost shone, and everyone disappeared into the world of Flame Titan. Asgard, here I come. Surtur has an urge to move as soon as he enters Asgard. At the moment he wanted to pull out the Twilight Sword and destroy Asgard. He has always felt that this is his mission, the meaning of his existence. It's just that just when I had this sign, I remembered Hela's night sky sword. He quickly suppressed this thought. If you can't beat it, don't die. Then his eyes lit up. Odin, let's fight. He saw Odin immediately. Once the god king of Asgard, master of the 9 realms. Back then, he defeated himself and took away his eternal fire. It was not the first time that Surtur wanted to hit Odin. His huge body of 5 or 6 meters went straight to Odin. Excitedly, Surtur slapped him across the face. Shot Odin directly on Bifrost. He looked at his hands. Then he lifted Odin up. Why are you so weak? Didn't you break through? Sult was puzzled. Even Hela has entered the realm of half-step gods. Why is Odin so weak right now? He also thought that Odin had also entered the realm of the demigods. That's why there is extra divine power provided to Hela. The result now seems to be not what I thought at all. Hela broke through the realm of half-step gods. Odin is still a level god-father subversion. So Hela is actually a half-step god who has accepted the power of death god. And you were taken over by your daughter. Thinking of this, Sult laughed wildly. Ha ha ha, God King Odin of the 9 realms was kicked out of the throne by his own daughter. Odin is really helpless. He actually wanted to block it just now. But Surtur's power is like that of an ancient giant. That random slap made him unable to fight back at all. Now he also wants to break Surtur and grab his hand. After all, he is the king of gods. It's embarrassing to be carried like that. But Sult twisted his hands on him like pliers. I can't move. Shame. Half-step god. You have also entered the half-step god level. Odin really felt helpless this time. How can any lord in the 9 realms become a half-step god now? Who would believe that Asgard is the lord of the 9 realms now? Obviously the underworld is the master of the 9 realms. The 3 realms have already been completely turned into a prison in the underworld. Asgard is now almost completely obeying the orders of the underworld. What's more important is that all the lords following the underworld here have become half-step gods. This will make everyone have an urge to become a member of the underworld. Anyway, it is controlled. Isn't the underworld better than Asgard? That's right, I have achieved half a step of the god level. Before I saw you, I still felt a little uncomfortable being the prisoner of the underworld. After all, from now on, you must obey the orders of Death God. But after seeing you, I suddenly felt that it would be nice to be the lord of the underworld. At least compared with you, I think I've made a lot of money. You're old enough to die, and I can't survive hundreds of thousands. I'm the maker of Ragnar paragraph mark K, Asgard's domain. I will live forever. Until the final destruction of Asgard. Quote, Surtur never forgot his mission. Destroy Asgard. His words were heard by all the people of Asgard. Is this, Ragnar paragraph mark K, what the Flame Titan said true? It's true, Ragnar paragraph mark K's prophecy has been around for a long time. But, God King Hela is also a half-step god level, can he beat God King Hela? That is, it is impossible for him to defeat the Sea God King. Countless Asgard people are constantly discussing. Odin glanced at Surtur. Did you hear that? Asgard has Hela, you can't kill it. Can't be destroyed, although Hela is also a half-step god. But don't forget, her authority is death. She is the god king of Asgard and the goddess of death at the same time. Death suits her better than Asgard. As for death, definitely the underworld is the most suitable place. Wait until the day when Hela doesn't want to control Asgard. That's when I will completely destroy Asgard. Quote, Surtur sees very far. He couldn't beat Odin before, but now Odin can't beat him. In the past, there was a gap in strength between the two. But now it's not just that little gap. Now that he is on the half-step heavenly god road, it means that he can survive hundreds of thousands of troops. Odin is about to die. Wait until one day Hela wants to be her goddess of death instead of Asgard's god king. It is when he destroys Asgard. At that time, no one can stop him. Hearing Surtur's words, he was shocked in his heart. What Surtur said is true. The opponent has an obsession with destroying Asgard. He always felt that this was his calling. His appearance, accompanied by the appearance of Ragnar paragraph mark K. Hela now occupies the position of God King. But what if Hela really doesn't care? At that time, who is the God King? Thor, or Loki? Their strength gap is too great. What to do? Aren't the gods coming? Surtur directly threw Odin out. Then he looked around Asgard constantly like a general patrolling his territory. Asgard is bigger than ever. He looked around, and the first thing he noticed was that Asgard was getting bigger. The enlarged area is clearly separated from Asgard's original territory. If the original Asgard is a fairyland, then the expanded place is like hell. Not an inch of grass grows, and the daily hair does not pull out. Listen, you all, I am the doom of the gods of Asgard. Wait until your god king Hela no longer wants to be a god king. I will come to destroy Asgard. You guys, pray that day will come later. Surtur growled at the surrounding Asgardians. He was wandering around here like an Erhasahuan. And announced his presence in Asgard. Is what he said true? Ragnar paragraph mark K, do you really want to destroy Asgard? Looks like he just dropped God King Odin. Could it be that Surtur has also achieved the half-step position of God? My god, how could this be? Two of Asgard's enemies have become half-step gods. Will they unite to take revenge on Asgard? I don't know, now they are half-step gods, and we only have God King Hela as a half-step god. If they really attack us, we may really be unable to resist. Quote, yes, the aura of those ice titans is obviously stronger than before, so do we still have an advantage? What should God King Hela do? It was originally thought that God King Hela took over the position of God King from God King Odin. It can make Asgard stronger, but it turned out to be like this. Quote, you say that even they can become half-step gods, why can't God King Odin become half-step gods? Others have joined the forces of the underworld to become half-step gods, and God King Odin may not want to join the underworld. One after another Asgard people are constantly discussing. Not long ago Hela became a half-step god. They held a grand banquet. They think that their better days are coming. But unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, Ice Titan also had a half-step god. Now, the Flame Titan is also available. Can a God King Hela in Asgard withstand the attacks of the two races? No one knows. Now, they reverse, and started complaining about why Odin couldn't be a half-step god. If Odin can also become a half-step god, then Asgard has two half-step gods. In that way, they will not be afraid of anything. 200. Odin listened to what the men were saying. He became more and more helpless. Become a member of the underworld. I really became a member of the underworld. Is it really possible to achieve the position of half-step god? He looked helplessly at Chin-Hao and Hela who came from the Bifrost Golden Head. A black and white figure. Suddenly feel a little compliment each other. Forget it, don't want to. Death God of the East, can you make everyone who reaches the peak of level God Father become half-step gods? Odin took the initiative to ask Chin-Hao. Chin-Hao's heart moved slightly. It seems that his plan is likely to be realized. Stimulate the first wave with Ice Titan Loth. Immediately after that go to Muspelheim to find the Flame Titan. This is the second wave of stimulation. Now it seems that the effect is very good. Odin, heartbroken. I can't guarantee it, I can only say people who have reached this level. It is indeed very possible to become a half-step god after obtaining the Eastern Divine Power. Quote, Chin-Hao didn't guarantee it. What if you are unlucky and can't make it? My body can no longer keep up with the growth of divine power. If I become a god of the Eastern Pantheon, is there a high chance of becoming a half-step god? Odin asked still unwillingly. Before Chin-Hao could speak, Hela became impatient. Chin has said it all, but I can't guarantee it, why are you asking? Moreover, there is a high probability that your soul will still go to the underworld after you die. Do you think you can escape? If you really want to, then join now. Otherwise, when you die, you will be like other souls. Now you can still become an employee of the underworld, and when you die, you will go to hell to stay. Maybe both Lof and Surtur want to see you dead. Quote. After Hela finished speaking, Surtur and Lof were startled. That makes sense. The two of them at the moment old Odin was like watching a prey. Odin is dead, and when the time comes, he must go to their hell for a while. Odin was stunned when he heard this. What she said made sense. Originally Asgard also had a soul castle. His dead soul returns directly to Soul Castle. But now, the Soul Castle has been taken away by the underworld. In that way, even if he is Odin, his soul will return to the underworld after death. All in all, at that time there was really no room left. Look into the eyes of Surtur and Lof again. He felt that there was no way out. Hela is right, I see. Odin looked at Chin Hao. Master Death God, can you transform me into a member of the underworld? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.